Syrie.
Yeah, we're going to see that ejector is going to go ahead and throw Syrie to the Wolves. The rest of Maple Leafs are going to go ahead and clean it up, trying to get some gold for their efforts here. Still 42 seconds next for this next turtle.
And they're going to proxy that lane on the bot side, right? They're going to go ahead and hold it,
Yeah,
not allow Syrie to get in there. Maybe he'll use the Blood Oath
Syrie
if he's lucky, but it's going to be a risky gamble. Look at Joy Buzz
are going to go ahead and clean it up, trying to get some gold for their efforts here. Still 42 seconds next for this next turtle.
They're going to proxy that lane on the bot side, right? They're going to go ahead and hold it, not allow Syrie to get in there. Maybe he'll use the Blood Oath if he's lucky, but it's going to be a risky gamble. Look at Joy Buzz are going to start trying to
trying to get some
lane.
gold for their efforts here. Still out there trying to put the damage of Moonlight Club Maple Leafs. 9 seconds left on the turtle.
A great game for Maple Leaf within the past 4 minutes, getting everything they've came for so far. Godspeed, not the same story. Turtle has spawned in. You're looking at Maple Leaf already looking to take this objective.
Ooh. Yes, interesting thing there is that the lead. Oh, we do have Joy Buzz in trouble. They're getting taken down by Nasty Wayne. Black Dragon swinging to the backside of the line. Restart has to use the flicker to get out. Still goes down to Ureshi. Taps the blades, is out, and Nasty Wayne in trouble. Gets taken out as well by the revenge strike. Toru finds a kill onto Divine. That is 3 down for Godspeed, and the junglers down for both teams.
Yeah, 3-for-1 trade. I'd take that any day if I was Maple Leaf. Even with Nasty Wayne falling, they're going to get more.
Yeah, Syrie goes down. I have the question, though, why not just go for the turtle? Because Shiro used his retribution to kind of steal a minion away from Maple Leafs who were invading. You could have gotten yourself a free turtle, then maybe turned your attention to the team fight. But, I mean, you're kind of still doing all right. You're at 2-11 right now for Maple Leafs, so just continue on the pressure and keep this snowball going.
Yeah, the snowball is definitely starting to roll, and they need to find a way to pump the brakes fast. Nasty Wayne will take the turtle. The I'm offended.
Yeah, Joey Bot's going to go ahead and use that guiding wind to get out of the way, and now the invade has started. Nasty Wayne going to go ahead and try to push this lane before going for the purple buff. Lane without a purple is going to have troubles for the rest of the map, and now look at the focus. Immediately goes back. An Eternal Guardian comes out, but it's not going to be able to save that mid tower.
Ling without a purple is like trying to drive a car with no gas. It just does not work, and Shiro needs to find the next pit stop. You're looking at Maple Leaf 11-2 in climbing as they work toward the top turret.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was expecting from Maple Leafs when you got the former Area 77 members and the experience coming from Ureshi. Speaking of which, Restart in trouble, gets a whole lot of damage mixed together, a hoip of damage, gets taken down there. Ureshi on the side lane, still trying to put the pressure on there and doing a good job of making sure to kind of cover the flank from J-Law.
Yeah, right now, this is just a total domination, and it's going to be hard to kind of come back.
Wow, Tempest the Blade has to come out, being used defensively. Shiro able to get his orange buff, luckily through all of that chaos, but still looking at about a 7K gold deficit.
That is massive to only be 6 minutes in. Maple Leaf, they're not playing around. They're letting the world know, hey, we're not on the same level as Godspeed. Godspeed not able to find an objective this entire game. It started with Ureshi on the top side on the 1v3, and the snowball began to roll. But maybe they find a trade here.
Yeah, Ureshi's going to go ahead and try to cover this. I don't think he's going to be able to protect this tower. Might put himself in a little bit of harm's way. Is going to go ahead. The tower goes down, but he is going to be able to kind of find and take down some of those minions before they do any more harm. I like that Maple Leafs, they know that they have the early advantage. They're going to keep trying to push this, and now starting to focus a little bit onto the turtles. Doing such a great job, and Ureshi is finding these great angles during some of the team fights to be able to get to those back lines of Godspeed.
Yeah, and able to take yet another turtle on their side and increase this lead even more.
Yeah, J-Law gets cornered by all of them. He's going to proc his passive. That's the blade is out. Just trying to chase down J-Law. Syrie finally able to find the kill there. Nasty Wayne is able to cover the end, takes down Restart, and now you can see the damage starting to come through from Syrie on that Alice. Actually goes in on Divine under the tower. Nasty Wayne, not again.
Oh,
look at that. Look at the juggle there on the Raj laser plays, but eventually 3 members of Godspeed is just a little too much for him to take, as Taru, look at the regen he's getting on that Ruby, eventually taken down by 3 members of Godspeed as well.
Now that was just plain greedy from Maple Leaf. Definitely not worth it at all. And this is what I kind of talk about when teams get a little arrogant, right? They get a little overconfident. And just as easily as you gain that lead, you can lose it. A few more times of that happening, and we may be able to see Godspeed dig their way out of this hole.
Yeah, and that's definitely not what you want to happen. And Shiro doing a great job. He's behind on the lane, so all he's going to do is start split pushing from the team, try to use his movement, use that Finch pose to get around the map as quickly as he can to find some of these towers on the outside of the map.
Yeah, Shiro, I said I was a fan of him, right? He definitely is objective focused. He's really great on these assassins as well. I mean, even though Godspeed is playing from behind right now, he's still off to a good start, 2-1-2 on this Ling. Joy Bosch, he's running on this Mathilda, who did have a little bit of a rough start, 0-3-0. We talked about Mathilda. If you don't have a great early start, it's going to take longer to be effective, especially running on that support role. But on the opposite side of the table, Nasty Wayne, man, on this Roger, he's able to find the Lycan pounce, but he's getting a little greedy. Speaking of Nasty Wayne,
yeah, he is going to be able to use some of those transformations and now actually put Godspeed in a little bit of harm's way. They dug a little too deep into enemy territory. Not sure if Maple Leafs are going to be able to make them pay for it. Big penalty zone lands onto 3 members. Nasty Wayne finds a kill onto Joy Baj and to Divine. Down goes Syrie. That is 3 down for the side of 4 down for the side of Godspeed. Maple Leafs looking to make their push in this top lane.
Now, Mr. Wayne, that was just nasty. The bait for the entire 4-man team from Godspeed minus Shiro. They chase him. Yoreshi follows through, and MLC Maple Leaf destroys on the counterplay, opening up the objective to take this Lord.
I like that Shiro immediately goes for the enemy's purple buff because he knows that they're going to go ahead and try to take his. He's able to get the purple buff, so he's going to still have that mana regen. He's still going to have that cooldown that you need on the Ling. But right now, sitting at 5-17 with a 7K gold lead firmly in Maple Leaf's pockets.
Yeah, just a really overall good game. I want to say it's not one-sided, but it is. I mean, Maple Leaf has been in total control. Godspeed, we can't count them out just yet, but it's going to be a lot harder to turn this game back around in their favor. And Maple Leaf understands it. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to try and close this game early.
Yeah, the only thing right now is they did line up some of the lanes here right now. Big focus, a split push by the side of Godspeed as they have to split their attention between all of the lanes now. Top tower gets taken down. Only 2 high ground towers left for the side of Godspeed. Black Dragon is out, trying to clear the way from Godspeed away from this tower. Maple Leaf still looking to put on that damage. Oh, a big penalty zone lands onto 3 members. Tempest of Blades comes out. Syrie finds a kill onto Nasty Wayne and J-Law as well. Trading 2 for 3 on the side of Maple Leafs. They are going to hopefully have to disengage. Yoreshi looking to try to still put on the damage onto Divine. Still finds himself a kill before going down to Syrie.
I mean, I was about to say that was a little greedy. But the fact that he was able to find that kill means they only lost 1 additional member. They took down 2 inhibitors in the process, and the mid inhibitor is barely standing below 50% HP. You're looking at some of the items on the board, specifically over down for not only the Roger, Thunderbelt picked up, does have a lot in his kit. Both sides providing a pretty decent fight, but overall Maple Leaf, they're winning across the board for the objectives, and that is what matters at the end of the day. They have a lot of insurance. They're still holding on to the mid turret in the mid lane, which is going to allow them to not have Godspeed invade with an ease of time, but they may still go for it. Looks like they're going to try and play from behind.
Yeah, you see them kind of looking for the angles here. They're trying to bait Yoreshi into a fight. He sees Shiro there. Is he going to go too far? You have 4 members. They are going to go ahead, find it. He gets baited in. Blind and Seeker. Here comes the rest of Maple Leafs to join the party. A big pop-up lands onto Syrie. Toru unable to withstand the damage. Down goes Pavel. Tashiro takes him underneath the tower. Nasty Wayne has joined the fight, looking to put the damage on to Sairi as Joybaj looking for an escape.
What do you like to say? He's running for the hills. Joybaj, get out of there. Maple Leaf still in control, but a good engagement from Godspeed. Not enough to turn this back around in their favor, though. Maple Leaf will now make quick work of this Lord, but do they go in for the denial?
Yeah, you can see coming in there, Joybaj looking to kind of like put the fear into Maple Leafs that they could go ahead, put on that circling eagle at any time. Also, with the penalty zone, comes in the penalty zone, and Nasty Wayne still able to find the retribution. Divine is in trouble right now, trying to find an escape, gets taken down by J-Law, and just like that, another Lord go to Maple Leafs.
It was a good contest, though. They almost pulled that off. A basic attack could have been the difference to steal that Lord away from Maple Leaf. But with that Lord in their possession, marching on the top side, another tool in their kit to be able to take game number 1 for our second series of the day, the conceal play being called out.
Yeah, conceal play is out. Down goes that final high ground tower. Sairi with the damage and that blood ode ticking away on 3 members. You do have the Winter Crown is out there, gets frozen and taken down by Nasty Wayne. Joybaj next on the list. And the Lord is barreling through the top lane, looking to hold on to their core. Black Dragon is out. It is just Divine alone against the team. Here comes the Ice Crown. It's not enough. First game goes to Moonlight Club Maple Leaf.
Man, oh man, what a domination to be able to take down Godspeed in a fashion like that is something to be proud about for game number 1. Moonlight Club Maple Leaf definitely not disappointing their fans today. 28-12 and 56. The boys are on fire.
Yeah, there was even a point where they were baiting out Yoreshi at the top lane, and they succeeded. They got exactly what they wanted. They burst down Yoreshi, but how quickly Maple Leafs were able to close down ranks around there and eventually make Godspeed pay for that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just plain brutal, right? They could have just took the base crystal. They wanted the full wipeout to open up this game, this series. Now, back to the drawing board, right? For the side of Godspeed, there were some things that went wrong, but I feel like there was a lot that went right with them as well. I just feel like the team fights just worked a little bit more in Maple Leaf's favor. But I will say, there was a lot of times where Maple Leaf overextended and was a lot more aggressive than I would have liked to see, and I feel like some teams can definitely punish on that. Maybe even Godspeed for game number 2. But this is going to be a huge victory for Maple Leaf, right? Everybody's been asking the question, which team is going to triumph over the other? And having 1 point on the board, every point matters. This could be a difference in that number 4 position to make it to playoffs.
Yeah, as we take a look here at some of the numbers coming out from their 200k damage coming out from the side of Maple Leafs. Objectives, of course, 11. All the objectives cleaned up for Maple Leafs. Only 2 towers downed for the side of Maple Leafs. And then you have the gold per minute, about a K up for the side of Maple Leafs. Then this kind of brings up the question of what Godspeed needs to do, because I'm almost kind of at a crossroads here. It felt like they had a good composition. They had good ganks. They had a good idea for it. It's just that the side of Maple Leafs, they were a lot faster when it came to closing ranks around something. You could see here a lot of the Black Dragons kind of coming out to kind of zone out the backside of the field. Tempest of Blades is out. They just were better when it came to, I want to say, target focus for the side of Maple Leafs.
Mr. Wayne, that was just plain nasty. Able to secure that MVP for Maple Leaf, dominating on this Roger. The bait on the top side, I want to say, was the most impressive thing. Yoreshi to kind of follow through, and the whole team beside him to take down 4 members, which tremendously extended the gap they already had on the scoreboard. There goes the aggressive plays, though. This is where I said some teams may be able to punish, right? They get a little overconfident when they have the lead. And as you see right there, they thought they were going to be able to take that last inhibitor turret, and it was pretty much a team wipe in the mid lane. So something that Godspeed should lean in on for game number 2.
Yeah, it was just really interesting because I saw a lot of opportunities from the side of Godspeed. They found some great ganks, especially in the early game. It's just that they were basically, what, 3-on-1 on Yoreshi, and Yoreshi was still healing through it, just waiting for Pavel to come up there. Like, that's just an insane amount of, like, understanding and a macro or micro coming from these players that even if you're outnumbered, even if you have the advantage, at least 3 times we saw the side of Godspeed have the advantage, have a gank, and it got flipped on them because of how quickly Maple Leafs were able to respond to it.
And this is one of the things where Yuzong shines, right? He shines when he's fighting massive amounts of enemies, right? I mean, if he can hit multiple targets, that's more essence he can get, the residue, to be able to regen and sustain himself in those fights. So you can't just keep rushing in as a group. You got to kind of take him down piece by piece. The man's like Thanos with all the Infinity Stones, right? You can't just keep throwing them to him. You need to just do one at a time to be able to burst him down. And that just shows you the experience that he has and the impact he has for this team for game number 1. Now, you asked the question, Private, Godspeed. We saw the objectives, right? It was 2-11. They only took 2 objectives that entire game compared to Maple Leaf. So with game number 2, maybe focus on the objectives. Maybe be a little bit less team fight focused and more about these turrets, these turtles, and these lords. But it's not going to be easy, man. I feel like Maple Leaf, they were just slightly ahead of them for each objective.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of amazing to me is because a lot of these fights led to the objectives. Like I said, it's I want to say it's hard because it's almost humiliating because you did everything you wanted to on paper. We go up, we're going to find the gank. We found the gank. He still survived. Another team player comes in. Now we're getting ganked from behind the tower and underneath tower. Multiple times they found some great penalty zones, but somehow the entirety of Maple Leafs was able to survive and start finding some of the pickoffs. It's just, it's very interesting problem to have where on paper you're doing things correctly, but you need to it's that little macro that you need to pay attention to kind of cut off maybe some of the escapes from enemies to make sure that they don't have a place that they can go, and be wary of where everybody else is on the map.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned earlier in the previous series the bait, right? If you take the bait, at least get the food. And that was a bait from the XP lane, right? A 3-man rotation, and they didn't kill him. He got out. And this is how we kind of talked about when this series started. We talked about Joybosh maybe having an advantage because he's the roamer, so he can be in more places than Yoreshi can. But hey, it don't matter. The party's at Yoreshi's house. Everybody's coming to the XP lane. But he's definitely in control of it. And it showcases his mastery not only over the hero, but his overall understanding of the game. And it's something that Godspeed is going to have to pay a little bit of a closer eye on, right? Don't fall for the setup that Yoreshi offers you.
Yeah, really interesting here. Big focus going on to the Bane on the side of Maple Leafs. Definitely not wanting to see Shiro on that. Bane, I want to say has a little bit. He's one of my favorite heroes to play because it's different when it comes to the jungler. You're not looking for kills. You're not really looking for like some of those great team fights. You're looking for objectives, and he pushes towers like no other. And it really kind of forces the enemy team to kind of readjust to your game plan, because if they blink, he's going to be able to take down a tower in absolutely no time. Still a mirror of some of the same bans we're seeing from the side of Godspeed here. Fovia's taken off the wheel there. Gatakacha taken off there, as well as the Hylos.
We still got a lot of XP laners available, though. The Arlot, the Edith, both of them prime targets, at least in yesterday's series. Maybe not as targeted today, but I do think can have a major impact in these matches. The Bane, surprisingly enough, it wasn't banned really in the first series that we had today, and it wasn't picked either. It was just more Nolan's, Hayabusas, the Ling, maybe a Fanny. But the Bane, I'm right there with you. It's such an objective-focused, a turret pusher, a shredder, if it must. And I like what Maple Leaf is doing here, right? They're going to try and deny that. I think they want to force the assassin from Godspeed. Maybe they force it and then they try and go in for the Jawhead. There goes the Jawhead, because they're going to be aggressive. They're going to try and delay that early game assassin from getting online.
Yeah, and I want to say this is a great. I want to say especially for North America, this is kind of the trying to counter the early assassin type of hero you get out there. He's able to kind of stand his ground in the early game. He does a huge amount of damage, and also he's able. Doesn't matter how fast assassins are. If they get within range, he's going to be able to use the unstoppable force to lock onto them. So this might ward away from those Ling pickups again, especially the early Ling pickups. I've talked about it before, especially in this meta right now. If you pick those assassins very early, you're kind of asking for some of the counters to come out as well. And with that, Shiro is going to go ahead, pick up the Nolan.
Yeah, going to go ahead and pick up that assassin, playing into the playbook from Maple Leaf, right? They're okay with that. That's what they wanted. You're going to pick one of these assassins, but we have a plan to be aggressive and push hard in the beginning of the match. Now, we got to look at the R-Lot, right? The R-Lot was not banned out. Are they going to pull it out here? It is going to be going up possibly against the Edith. I mean, unless the Edith is flexed into their own position, but I guess technically you can't really flex the R-Lot anymore because you have the Jawhead in here. So I still think it's a strong option. Still no mages banned out for either side. You have a lot open and available. The Vexana, you also have the Valentina, who we've seen prioritized early in the draft for a lot of these matches, and it's had such a strong impact in the game. There goes that Vexana, and they're going to match an assassin for an assassin. They're going to put that Ling on that Nolan.
Yeah, interesting here. They pick up the counter for Ling, and then they pick up Ling, so that'll have just a little bit more wiggle room. The only problem is if we can find ourselves a little bit of an early tank. Tigreal, he's not an early tank. I would have said like a Grok is probably the early tank you want because he's got a big amount of damage that he can go for. You would be looking at invades onto Ling. Here, I want to say we're just going to be looking at possibly escorting Shiro, helping him get his gold, and we've got a good, stable amount of tankiness to help us with those objectives, to give Shiro time to get there, get the retribution, and find an escape route.
Now, I'm wondering, right? I wonder if they still go in for... we have yet to see the gold laner. Oh, I guess they took down Ruby, so I was like, you could put the Ruby against the Tig to counter out that implosion, but you still can do something like a Terizla. The anti-CC definitely can work in his kit, or even the R-Lot with the final slash could be very effective in this game, and that actually would be effective for either side. If you put the R-Lot on the side of Godspeed's not even going to pick it up. They're going to actually ban it out, and they had prio on that. They could have took that R-Lot, and it would have definitely profited with the crowd control that they have on their side. But then that opens the question, what do you put in the XP lane, right? Are you going to go in for this Terizla? Both sides definitely know how to play. It could be very effective.
Yeah, Terizla's not a bad option here. It just depends. Now that we have Claude out there, you're going to have that mid to late game amount of damage. You're going to have that Blazing Duet that can get into your back line. So potentially Vexana's going to have a few issues there. It really depends where we go here, especially on that XP lane. Yureshi, he's got a huge hero pool, so he can pull out basically anything. Heck, we haven't seen a Benedetta yet. We haven't seen, well, there's a lot of picks. We have, early game. He's going to be going with the Khalid.
Oh, I'm trying to pull a Nats over here, right? The last time we saw that was from Cloud9, and it was effective. I like it here as well, but there's a lot of things that could be a problem for him. There's knock-up, not only from the Edith, but also from the Tig that can kind of cancel out that quicksand when he tries to regenerate. But that being able to rush in and deal a massive amount of early game damage could be a possibility that he's looking for. But sustainability could work in Godspeed's favor as they pick up this Faramis.
Yeah, but I mean, Yureshi, you've got that Raging Sandstorm from him too. That's a huge setting potential, a big stun on your team, which can be wombo comboed with the Vexana, with the Tempest of Blades coming in. You have the potential for a lot of damage to come down onto Godspeed if they're not careful. So we'll see how well they can kind of play out this next round.
Yeah, both teams ready to step into the land of Dawn. Game number 2. Godspeed, you said they needed to go back to the drawing board, needed to find some answers. Have they found them?
Yeah, definitely going to see how well that goes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be game 2 of Moonlight Club Maple Leafs taking on Godspeed. Godspeed suffered a pretty decisive loss in their last game, so they're looking to even things up here as we get started right away.
That's right, Shiro now going to be running on this Nolan. We got to see the Jawhead prioritize super early for the side of Maple Leaf. They looked like they allowed the Assassins to kind of walk, right? We saw the Bane band out from them, like they were just baiting out either a Nolan, a Hayabusa, or a Fanny because they're comfortable. They know that Pavel can be very aggressive on this Jawhead to create the early game gap and deny the Assassin from getting the farm needed.
Yeah, I like that Pavel on this Jawhead. This is what I've said, like one of my favorite parts of the Jawhead is the amount of damage he can do to help out the jungler when it comes to some of those, some of that early jungling. Ooh, we're going to go ahead. Shiro going to go ahead and get leaned on to right now. Big push from Tigreal.
Oh!
And Yureshi finding the hit here is not going to be able to complete it on to Shiro. Yeah, great job by Yureshi. Ooh, he was looking for it. He wanted it, but thought against it. Maybe getting a little smarter from some of the, from what we saw from him in the early game.
Yeah, but Restart's going to take down J-Law, so First Blood is going to go over to Godspeed. Yeah, I mean, you saw Yureshi. That was a pretty big cut, especially that early in the game. He left the bottom lane alone, right? He didn't worry about the minions. He cleared them out super fast, and he went over there to try and create that opportunity. Even though it didn't work in their favor, I still like the play, but Godspeed, this is their chance, right? They have a little bit of a window of opportunity now to kind of spearhead the way for game number 2.
Yeah, it's starting to surround Yureshi, looking for an opportunity onto Nasty Wayne. Pop up on to that minion, but they're not able to find it just yet. 2 seconds left on this first turtle, which is going to tell the story of how the momentum of this match is going to go.
Now, there's only one problem that I'm seeing is how are they going to get back to the carry, right? They don't have a lot of heroes that have high mobility. I mean, they have Claude with the BMI, but they have to get back there and find a way to take down Toru, or he's going to have those speedy light wheels. He's going to have full kit. He's going to start bursting down Godspeed.
Ooh, big implosion lands on the 2 members and a push into the 4 members of them. Down goes J-Law. Pavel in a little bit of trouble. Gonna have to get out of harm's way. Here comes a Nasty Wayne. He's not able to find the retribution. The Tempest of Blade finds him an escape route, but Turtle goes over to Godspeed.
Hey, it was a good try. I mean, he did everything he could right there with what was available. But yes, Godspeed able to kind of find these objectives a little bit faster. Definitely a different story from game number 1. Now contesting the purple buff.
Yeah, Nasty Wayne doesn't have his retribution either. Out comes the Eternal Guardian. Are they going to be able to find the... Oh, he's not able to find his purple buff. It does get stolen away from Shiro, or by Shiro, as Restart looks for an escape. Yureshi comes in, finds the sandstorm, and that's going to be all she wrote for Godspeed's mage.
Yeah, they were able to find a kill, but with Nasty Wayne not having this purple buff, he's going to be limited on his energy pool for this Ling. May be able to meet up Shiro. I don't think he knows they're in that bush.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't. Here comes the Tempest of Blade. Shiro in trouble. And Nasty Wayne gets hit by a little bit of passive damage coming out from Shiro. Even after death, he is still a monster.
Hey, a jungler for a jungler, an eye for an eye leaves the world blind, and nobody is seeing today. 3-2 on the scoreboard. Demon Hunter Sword picked up super early by Sairi. Starting to stack those core items. I mean, just like Toru on this carry, the Claw can definitely hit like a truck as well. And both of them have yet to find a death.
Yeah, they're basically kind of in the boring lane right now. Everything's happening all around them. Actually, Joymaj gets caught there. A lot of damage. He's going to have to push his way to safety as Restart kind of covers his escape. He's going to be going back now as we see the rotation starting to go up to the top lane, possibly looking for Sairi on the back end.
Yeah, Sairi needs to be careful, but at least he's running on this Claude, right? He has a lot of mobility with the BMI.
Oh, and gets caught. Is Pavel still finding himself an escape? He does get pulled back. The Blazing Duet does not find a target, which is unfortunate for Godspeed. That's going to be one of the ultimates down for the side of Godspeed. Maple Leafs coming in. Here comes Nasty Wayne. Shiro still finds himself a Lord. Tempest of Blades is out. It is on the vine. Here comes the Nether Realm to keep the team topped up. Nasty Wayne looking for an escape, covered by Yureshi and Toru.
Yeah, at this point, Shiro just has a little bit quicker of a retribution than Nasty Wayne. He's 2 for 2. When both of them are in distance and ready to tap that retry, Shiro able to get it a little bit faster. But on the bot side, Yureshi, he's doing a great job on putting on that pressure up against Divine, right? He seems to be winning that lane in terms of clearing these minions, which is allowing him to join these team fights and traverse across the map.
Yeah, and right now I want to say Maple Leafs kind of having a little bit of a struggle when it comes to the objectives, when it comes to kind of getting into those side lanes. Yureshi's going to have a problem as we move into the mid and late game. Once Khalid starts falling off, it's going to be a little bit of an issue. 4-man gank looking for the top lane. They decide against it.
But he's still going to take the turret because he can't rush in on the carry. And that is going to be the map opened up for Maple Leaf. Nasty Wayne, need to be careful.
Yeah, and we do. Yureshi comes in there. A little bit of damage coming into that pixel bush right now. You see Joybaj taking a bit of damage from the Vexana right now. Oh, I mean, the placement around here is very interesting. Pavel goes in, does not find the pickup. We have a conceal play. Joybaj just misses. He doesn't find the targets he wants. So he decides against finding the implosion or the push onto Pavel. Look at the damage now coming from Toru. Look at Joybaj getting chunked down.
Yeah, that's about like almost 45% HP left right there, and he was only in that bush for a few seconds. Like we said, a ticking time bomb, the scary carry in the making. Just needs to get a little bit more items. Nasty Wayne 1v1 matchup on the bot side as well. Maple Leaf, even though it looked like Godspeed was leading the way in the beginning, they're starting to turn this game around. Turtle has spawned in. Will they be able to take this objective? They've yet to find a single turtle.
Yeah, as we can take a look at some of the items here right now, a little bit of a gold lead starting to measure up. I mean, the marksmen are starting to, they're kind of evened out right now. Ooh, a little bit of a engage there at the mid. Divine and Restart starting to butt heads there with a J-Law. Joybaj missing a push onto Pavel, but starting to set up for this next turtle.
Yeah, but Toru does have the corrosion sight. Oh!
Yeah, in comes Tempest of Blades up at the top, and through the bottom, we can see the turtle fight starting to happen here. Big Wombo combo came out. Nobody died there. Restart taking a heap of damage. Might be all she wrote as Toro able to burst them down with the speedy light wheel off camera. Syri finds himself a tower. Joybaj in trouble, takes some shurikens to the back for good measure, and the rest of Maple Leaf starting to focus on this mid tower.
Hey, Golden Staff, Corrosion Sight is all Toru needs to deal the damage necessary for these team fights. Able to take the turtle, able to take the mid turret. A massive turnaround for Maple Leaf to stay in this game. Malefic Roar and the Hunter Strike picked up over there by Shiro. Definitely heavily on the physical penetration. A little bit of mobility from the Hunter Strike as well. But it's not matching the damage output that Maple Leaf is providing right now. There goes Toru again, taking another turret.
Yeah, it's just great rotations coming from Maple Leafs when it comes to, especially when it comes to the marksman. You clean up top lane. As soon as you get your lane cleaned up, you immediately go to the opposite end of the map, start taking down that tower so that you're not just sitting in your lane doing nothing, always being the aggressor and always moving around on the marksman. Because what you need to do, especially on a carry, you need to get fed. You need to get fed fast because she is one of the latest hitting marksmen in the game.
I was looking at the player cams. One of the players on Godspeed, they're just in like a complete dark room, like no lights at all. The only thing lit up is that phone. If that's not locked in, I don't know what is.
Ooh, you see the raging sandstorm does lock on the two members. A big ejector lands onto Restart, but down goes Pavel, paying for that move.
You know, that's interesting. Like, Pavel, he's the initiator, and he's been doing such a great job at it. But sometimes, you know, it comes with a cost, and he had to pay the toll right there. He does fall. Godspeed able to pick up that kill, but I feel like it's not really going to impact Maple Leaf that much, right? I mean, they're able to take that mid-turret. They're still holding on to theirs as well. There goes the DHS from Toru to get that Trinity build. He's now going to be able to soak into Joybaj and Divine very heavily with their high HP pool. They are going to have to watch out for him. Like I said, the ticking time bomb is on the way, and it's about to start ticking.
Yeah, Syri, Nasty Wayne perched up looking for an angle, waiting for an opportunity, trying to be very patient. Oh, now we have a little bit of a fight pop up onto Yureshi. They aren't going to be able to complete it. They're looking for the Wombo combo there. Was Godspeed. They weren't able to find it from the quick reactions from Yureshi. Now Toru going to go ahead, start baiting out this Lord as the rest of Godspeed starts circling around the pit.
Yeah, getting ready for this objective. Maple Leaf, Godspeed, a high-value target. 3 to 4 gold, almost even. Who will be able to take this objective? Who will make the first mistake. There goes the conceal play.
Yeah, they go in. Joybaz does find it and does find the push. Shiro gets pulled back down. Oh, almost had a downed jungler. NetherRealm comes out for the save. Look at the back end. Nasty Wayne comes in. The Tempest of Blades is out, trying to put the damage on the Syri.
Oh.
And he takes down Nasty Wayne. Toru able to find the kills himself, but that is 2-1 right now. A jungler down for Maple Leafs means that this Lord could be going over to Godspeed.
Yeah, but Toru picking up both of those kills, that is massive for him, right? He's going to be hitting even harder now. Definitely going to have to watch out. He needs a little bit more additional attack speed, though, because those hits are a little too slow for my liking. But it's definitely going to be hitting like a truck here soon. The Lord's still intact, and Joybosh out of position.
Oh my gosh. Look at the damage coming out. Joybosh gets bursted down. Next on the list is Restart. You were talking about some more damage. Look at Toru right now with the speedy light wheel, starting to chunk down the Lord. And Shiro, unfortunately, not in a position to contest this Lord.
Yeah, and with this Lord in Maple Leaf's favor, they will be able to push in even further on the map, take down these tier 2 turrets. But Syri, he's trying to get a little bit of a split push. I mean, even with the economy, right? 7 of 5 when it comes to the kills, but they're up by 2,000 gold. It's not even that massive of a gold difference, but it's the macro and the micro that is keeping Maple Leaf on top.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. On paper, during a lot of these matches, Godspeed doesn't look like they have a disadvantage. It's just when it comes to the clashes, when it comes to the micro, how fast Maple Leaf is able to react when they do get spotted out is just it's unthinkable how fast Maple Leafs are able to kind of get this. Yeah, Joybosh here with a concealed play does find himself a little bit of a push and an implosion there. Toru putting out the damage. NetherRealm is out. Toru finds another kill onto Syri. This might be all she wrote for Godspeed. Still with the speedy light wheel. Restart takes a heck of a lot of damage. Yoreshi on the wrong side of the enemy territory there. Divine, they're not even able to punish him.
They can't find a way to Toru. This man can literally frontline on this carry, and they still cannot catch him. He's 6-0-1. This is what happens when you don't have a heavy dive-oriented composition to be able to get to that back line, right? And this is the carry. Carry's not even mobile. It's one of the easiest heroes to catch out of position, but he's doing a great job on keeping that separation and staying alive to deal the hits necessary to win these engagements.
Well, and it's one of the problems right now is you're kind of baiting out Joybosh to try to find an implosion, find a push, and what they're doing, you have the Purify on carry. They're able to create the distance, and Toru's able to unload. If Joybosh goes down, that's 1/2 of all of your CC goes down with him as well. And all you have left is the Edith, who's really has to be focused on where she's kind of putting down some of that CC and those pop-ups for the rest of the team to be able to catch Toru. So it's really interesting how Maple Leafs are able to kind of bait out some of these implosions, some of these pushes from the side of Godspeed.
Yeah, and Maple Leaf, I mean, they're in a great position to try and get an early closeout against Godspeed. Godspeed, their base has been opened up in the mid. Right now, like we said, it's not the biggest gold lead in the world, but it's the micro and the macro. And also, I would say, a little bit of the draft that's creating this issue, right? I mean, not finding a way to get to Toru is allowing this carry to scale even faster than normal. And he's just having such a great game. I mean, if anybody's MVP, it's got to be him.
Yeah, right now, 6-0-1. Toru having the game of his life. He's already come online, already has the items he needs to actually be chunking, and we're now sitting at a Luminous Lord. A good positioning for the side of Godspeed if they can all kind of get down there. You can see, big conceal play comes out, Joybosh in a bad way, gets thrown. Actually is going to have to use his flicker to get out of harm's way. NetherRealm is out, but it's already used very early. Yoreshi finds a kill onto Joybosh. Restart is down. That is 2 down for Godspeed. They are chasing them down right now. Shiro in trouble, gets locked onto by Nasty Wayne, finds a kill. Divine next on the list. This could be the final push for Maple Leafs. It's just Divine alone against the world here, looking for the pop-up. He gets taken down. Restart is back up, thankfully, but that's going to she wrote. Game 2 here going to the side of Maple Leafs.
Another game in their hands. Off to a great start for round 2 of the NACT fall season. Godspeed not able to find the answers they are looking for. Maple Leaf doing a great job on staying one step ahead.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how well Maple Leaf is putting together a lot of these engagements, some of these pushes as well. Even when it comes to, we've seen it before from the first game, when it comes to actually getting ganked, getting set upon, they're so quick to react. And this is kind of the quality that you look for from some top tier teams here in North America. As we take a look here at the stats, 15-6 right now. Toru having the game of his life, 6-0 and 6 for his team.
Yeah, it was just such a good read, right? I mean, man, this is why it's important to have somebody on your composition that can get to that back line. You cannot allow a marksman that scales and hits like a truck to stay alive an entire game and not have an answer to get back to him. And that is going to be another victory for Maple Leaf. Godspeed just falling short to the mark again 2 times in a row. And if they don't find victory for game number 3, then we will officially not have a bonus round for today. And that'll put them very behind in points and really raise Maple Leaf on that ladder.
Yeah, like I was saying, I think maybe coming back with a vengeance after taking that loss for being a little overconfident last week and picking up a Sun against a Hayabusa. So, I mean, I think here they've come back with a vengeance. They've tightened up their game plan, their draft. And the thing that kind of gets to me that's kind of crazy is I don't feel like the draft was completely one-sided. I don't even feel like it was in favor of Maple Leafs. I felt like Godspeed had a pretty good split on what they could be doing. It's just how well Maple Leafs react, how well they play together, how well they're able to close ranks around people and protect them, and to get some of these objectives. Here, MVP, no doubt about it, Toru.
Yeah, definitely well deserved. And I mean, it's kind of hard not to get MVP when nobody can get back to you to take you down. I mean, he was just having free range. We even saw a moment when he was on the top side and Divine was running up to him and they had the numbers to take him down, but they disengaged and they just let Toru take that turret for free. Didn't even attempt to go in for those minions. And that was the first turret being bursted out of the game. Then he went to the bot side and did the same thing. And that just showcases how comfortable he is on this carry and how much of an impact it has when you don't have anybody to get back to burst him down.
Yeah, even here you saw Joybosh found a great angle, found an implosion and a push, and still it was not able to get his team the necessary amount of time that they needed to be able to burst it down. He ended up getting bursted down himself. Then you took out the only CC that was going to be able to take down the carry, and just a great job overall by the side of Maple Leaf.
Maple Leaf, they're definitely showing some promising signs to make it to top 4. Godspeed. They got to pick up the pieces. They got to start rolling. We're already in round 2, and there's getting even less and less room for margins of mistake. So we have to kind of look forward to game number 3 and see where they go from here. Right now, I mean, I like Godspeed. I think they're a great team. I think they do a lot of things right. But Maple Leaf, they're just doing things better.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't even a case of like a bad team or like obvious mistakes that they're making. They're just getting outplayed by a better team here. And I mean, like every single thing that they try to do, every gank that they do, every time that they kind of rotate to a lane, it's just that Maple Leafs is faster. They're stronger. They're able to kind of bait out some of these abilities, and they have better micro on some of these things. It's amazing to see, and I know it's frustrating to face for the side of Godspeed.
You know what's frustrating? This Jawhead that keeps just slipping on through the cracks, and every time, I feel like every team Jawhead is on, they win. Maybe it's time to just lay down the ban hammer if you're not going to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, I think they're on the same wavelength as you. They've got the Jawhead ban out. So that is going to take away a little bit of the early game from the side of Maple Leafs. They still go ahead. They ban out the Bane on their side as well. We're going to see what this first pickup goes for the side of Godspeed.
I mean, the Edith again still available, the Arlott as well, but the Arlott seems to not really be prioritized this early. We got to see Maple Leaf try and bait out the Assassins. There goes an Assassin right there. They don't even have to bait it out. They just straight up first pick it for Godspeed. I mean, I guess the Bane is gone, so they're like, hey, we don't have to worry about the early game push, but there's still a lot of heroes that can still do that. There goes one right there, the Ruby, a great flex. When you're second in the draft, you don't really know where it's going to go. It's great in the gold lane. It still can work in the XP, even though we don't really see it there too often. And it could be even put in the roam position when all else fails. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. We have yet to really see the Assassins work for the side of Godspeed. The Bane is what's so clutch about this. They keep banning the Bane and forcing the Assassin play.
Oh, and as we're talking about early game and invades, we're going to go ahead, pick up the Hylos, which was left unbanned by the side of Godspeed. And that's kind of the problem right now that you start getting once you start adjusting to the enemy team, once you start having to make those bans because of those super strong characters. The Nolan is out, the Jawhead has to be taken out, but we've left open the Hylos, which the enemy's going to be able to pick up. That's going to be a lot of early game, whether it's the objective, whether it's invading into your jungle. It's going to be a problem, and especially on a hero or a man like Rireshi.
There's still a Valentina up for grabs as well. I mean, you could even put even more pressure up against Godspeed if they want to. They're going to go ahead and take away the carry from Toru. This is a little early, though. It's a little bit more early than I'm used to picking up the marksman, right? We've been seeing, at least with this meta, and the regular season for NACT, a lot of these teams are prioritizing their marksman in the second half of the draft. But this time, Godspeed is going to pick it up super early. Is that the right decision, though? Because I feel like they already have answers to get back to him, right? And now you give them the opportunity to possibly pick up even more. I mean, I guess the Fanny's gone. The Hayabusa is still here. The carry lacks mobility, and that's a hero who can definitely close the distance.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing here right now. I feel like the composition coming out of Godspeed here, we've really leaned into that mid and late game to be able to kind of take down some of these heroes. You got the Zask coming out for the mid lane. That's going to be an immense amount of poke, even tankiness coming out for them. So that leaves the target that Ling. So this is the thing too. Who is a Ling going to be going in on that he's going to be able to get the Tempest of Blades, connect the swords, and be able to get away where he's going to be able to do that untouched or do enough damage to actually have an effect on some of these? It's not going to be Ruby. It's not going to be Hylos. Zask is going to be able to get out of that as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see the target prioritization coming from Godspeed.
Yeah, I feel like they showed their cards way too early in this draft. The Zask, I was wondering, I was about to actually ask, I was like, when do we get to see this Zask slip up in here? And I think now's the time, you know? So we'll have to see how it kind of has an impact. Now I'm looking at the Lu Yi. I mean, I guess it's okay because they have a strong, heavy, frontline-oriented composition, so it should be easier to get that crowd control that the Lu Yi is looking for. But I'm right there on the same train with you. The Ling, when you pull it out that early, first in the draft, and you allow them to build a composition that's kind of anti-dive, so you can't really pick anybody off here, and they're going to continue to build that same draft going forward. Now, this is risky business right here because they really need this victory. Godspeed needs to take game number 3. Like we said, they're battling for points. They need to get that top 4 placement. They don't want to be that team that's sitting in that 5th or that 4th position in round 3 of the NACT fall season.
Oh, and just like that, out comes the Hayabusa. It's going to be able to kind of get the line. It's going to be able to ignore a front line that potentially Godspeed have to try to protect this Lu Yi, to try to protect this carry. So it's going to be very interesting to see how well. I mean, the thing is, we're going to need some peel. We're going to need some protection for Lu Yi. She's going to do well against this composition. You got a Ruby, you've got a Hylos, and you have the spawn coming from the Zask, which basically all act like lightning rods for her abilities. It's just going to be, are you going to be able to protect her? Because they're going to try to get back there. They're going to want to burst down Lu Yi first, because that's going to be your biggest threat during a lot of these teams fights.
It looks like they're going to go this Kufa, maybe try and stop some of the quad shadows from the Hayabusa, but I don't know, man. I'm not really too much of a fan for it because, like, the tank mage synergy is going to be a little awkward now, right? You have a Kufra rotating around with the Lu Yi. Not two heroes that you normally see walking together in the Land of Dawn, trying to find an ultimate combination of skills. But we'll see if it works. The Hayabusa, we kind of knew they were going to pull that out, right? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer when you have a marksman who has no mobility and also a mage as well. Both Carry and Lu Yi, they're weak in close quarters, right? If you can close that distance, you can easily burst them down. And that's exactly why they banned out that Kaja, right? They wanted to limit any hero from giving the Hayabusa a hard time. As we are going to be jumping into game number 3, though, Godspeed, they're running out of chances. They need to find a way to take game 3 away from Maple Leaf to guarantee them a possibility at a bonus round.
Yeah, right now we are quickly running out of time for potentially seeing a tie for Godspeed and Maple Leafs here. This will be the game that they need to start mounting their comeback. But ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Game 3, Moonlight Club Maple Leafs taking on Godspeed.
And here we go. Is the third time the charm. Godspeed yet to find a point in their first debut for round 2 of the NACT fall season. Maple Leaf currently having all the answers.
Yeah, both members going to go ahead and start with a little bit of assistance from their XP laner, looking to try to get some of those early rotations down, some of those early clears for their team.
Now, I'm looking at Godspeed, right? I would start with Maple Leaf because I feel like it's easier to break down what they need to do here to gain control of the early phase. But I want to take a look at Godspeed. If they want to win in this early game, first, Shiro has to find a way to pave these kills or take these objectives. It's going to be a little hard. There's nobody for him to really dive into. Even Toru on the Natan has the entropy to keep himself alive. You can use it for offense, but just as well for defense. I'm really going to be keeping an eye on Restart and also Joybaz with the Tank Mage synergy, right? You don't normally see this Lu Yi and this Kufra combination, and I want to see if it works.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing for me. If Joybaz goes in, if he lands a Tyrant's Revenge, that means that Restart is going to have to chase after him. He's going to have to try to go in, chase after him, and hope that there is no, as we're talking about, that Quad Shadows actually lands on the Restart, comes back in, finds the Shadow kill, and just like that, it comes to fruition. Here comes the Tempest of Blade, trying to land onto 2 members, connecting all 4 swords. Is it going to be enough? The stun is out. Shiro uses that Finch pose to get away to safety.
He needs to be careful, though, because Nasty Wayne is looking to take him down. He's trying to hit a quick Quad Shadow right there. I knew he was looking for it. Not able to find that opportunity, but they found some elsewhere, right? 1 kill on the board. Nasty Wayne making quick use of the Quad Shadow to get back to safety. 3 seconds until this turtle spawns in. This is where we got to see, how does Godspeed approach this turtle, right? You have a lot of heroes who I guess are okay in the early phase, right? The Lu Yi has a lot of crowd control. The Kufra, the bouncing ball can definitely provide the slow. But it's not going to be the easiest challenge. I guess at least you have the export with the Last Insanity. Maybe deal some AoE damage, but it's just an awkward combination of synergy.
Yeah, the thing for me is that you're leaving open. Okay, here comes, a very nice Tyrant's Revenge comes out there. Yureshi is going to be taking the Nasty Wayne, finds himself the Retribution on the back line. Restart, takes a half health amount of damage. Nasty Wayne looking for the kill onto Divine, does not have his Quad Shadows. Big jump comes in. Restart, almost in trouble there. Going to clean up the lane before going back home.
Yeah, Maple Leaf able to take the turtle, able to bait out a lot of utility too, right? Credits to Yureshi. He dove in, he got that Tyrant's Rage to proc, and then he also forced the Last Insanity on him, and he was able to get out of both alive and unscathed. And that's a lot of utility kind of wasted out to allow the turtle to go to Maple Leaf's favor.
I like that Shiro kind of just waited around to get that Retribution and then kind of Finch poses his way. Toro. Gets caught! Sairi comes in, putting on the damage with the Speedy Light Wheel, but Toru able to use that entropy to get himself out of harm's way. A great job and a great read by Toru, but on the back end, Pavel and Nasty Wayne looking for an angle. They do get spotted out by Shiro. Does he know that there's more people in there? Quad Shadow is out. Shiro gets locked onto with the Shadow kill. Joybaz not quick enough on the draw with that bouncing ball.
Yeah, that's just not the move, right? They got to disengage. It was a good look, though. I saw what they were trying to go for, but credits to Shiro to be able to spot them out and deny the play. They want to limit the opportunity that Maple Leaf has to kind of lead the way in the early game, because if they can get online, if Maple Leaf finds a little bit more opportunity, it's going to be hard to catch back up, especially when their composition's more favored, right? You're going to see Restart joining the battle alongside Joybosh. We asked about the Tank Mage synergy. We got to see how it kind of plays out. But right now, Maple Leaf, that's for certain they're leading the early game.
Yeah, and I want to say, too, that's the first time I've seen the diversion come out. It really wasn't useful at all either. So, I mean, that's one thing. If you're going to play this Lu Yi, too, a big thing that you're going to need to do is be able to use those diversion ultimates to get your team in great positioning to help out with some of these fights.
Yeah, next fight will be on the way here momentarily. Turtle has spawned in. Yureshi already wrapping around. Joybosh winding up for potential setup. Not going to find it. And here comes Pavel.
Yeah, Shiro is able to get himself a turtle. Pavel in a little bit of trouble. Glorious Pathway is out. Shiro connecting two swords before going up with the Finch pose to get himself out of harm's way. That is going to be the first turtle for the side of Godspeed, tying things up for the gold lead at least.
Yeah, Toru not able to join the fight, not able to really have an impact right there. A turtle for Godspeed, which is looking promising, is just a little late to the punch over there from Nasty Wayne on this Hayabusa. He quad shadowed just a moment too late to be able to get that retry play, but now focusing on Shiro.
Yeah, Nasty Wayne comes in with the shadow kill. Does not find himself a kill, unfortunately. Pavel comes in from the side, not able to find a stun onto Shiro. Both teams reset on the map right now. Pretty low kill gain for the 6-minute mark right now. Coming on Toru, who's still kind of blasting away at those. Glorious Pathway is out, not able to put any damage or a stun onto the side of Godspeed. Yureshi and Nasty Wayne looking to put some damage onto Divine, who is able to use that last insanity to get himself away.
And this is why it's important to have a marksman that can play for survivability, especially when you're going up against a Kufra who can dive in on you, right? You use that entropy. You don't really have to worry about it because you can extend the distance to go back to safety at a moment's notice. Even when it was a 3v1 deficit on the bot side, Toru, he wasn't even phased. They didn't even deal any damage to his turret. And that just showcases some great drafting over there from Maple Leaf and some good execution from their gold laner. Right now, though, Godspeed, they're still hanging in there, right? They have yet to lose a turret. They've only lost one member so far, but that may change at a moment's notice.
Speaking of which, here comes the Glorious Pathway from Pavel to clear out the back line while the rest of Maple Leafs try to put some damage onto this tower. They do find the tower. Shadow kill. Siren. Oh, he's looking for an escape. He's not going to be able to find one. We do have Yureshi get taken down by the last insanity, and Toru finds himself a kill of his own. 1-3 right now in favor of Maple Leaf. Shiro working on this next turtle.
Yeah, but the trade on the bot side from Nasty Wayne will be able to take that turret to be able to match up with it. So overall, I would still say Maple Leaf wins the trade, right? They get more kills and they get a turret to open up the map even more in their favor. 2 turtles for Godspeed, 2 turrets for Maple Leaf. As we are looking at some of the items, the ticking time bomb, trying to get that Trinity build, has a corrosion scythe, has the golden staff over there for Syri on this carry. But keep in mind, Syri has to be careful, especially with Nasty Wayne lurking in the distance.
Oh, a little bit of trouble for Yureshi. Gets caught with the Tyrant's Rage and Tyrant's Revenge to pop them into the wall there. Gets the stun. Yureshi goes down quickly. 2-3 right now. Narrowly a gold lead for the side of Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I feel like both ADCs, both marksmans are quickly trying to race to deal more damage, right? The carry versus the Natan, and they're both doing a good job. I feel like they're playing for survivability, but they're also scaling and getting the items necessary to deal some damage. But right now, the map is still bleeding red for the side of Maple Leaf. It seems like Tor is just a little bit quicker to kind of find these engagements and to find these objectives. Now, the later the game goes, though, I mean, you have Pavel on this Hylos, you have the Ruby, you have both of them easily being able to be bursted down by some speedy light wills.
Oh, yeah, you see already Toru gets caught by Joybosh. He's going to be able to get himself out of harm's way there. I'm Offended lands onto Joybosh. You're going to have to use that flicker to get himself away. Pavel disengages for his team. You can see the entirety of the team grouping around mid and pressure up at the bottom. You can see Shiro doing a good job with the split pushing on this Ling.
Yeah, you got to see Nasty Wayne take down Restart as well in the process. Looks like Shiro was not able to get that turret. I thought he had it for certain, but a good rotation from Yureshi to push him back.
Yeah, 4 seconds left on this next Lord. I want to say Divine doing a great job of kind of clearing out. He's like back, keeping them away from Shiro's purple buff to make sure that he still has, he's going to be able to get that cooldown. He's going to be able to get some of that damage from there. But with that, as soon as he gets the purple buff, the entire team clamors. We have a diversion out. Glorious Pathway comes down. Pavel taking a heap of damage, being strung together by Restart on this mage. Divine finds himself a kill onto Pavel. From the side, we do have Shiro coming in on this Ling with the Tempest of Blades, but this is not enough to find themselves another kill. 1 for 1, I want to say that goes in the benefit of Maple Leafs.
Yeah, for certain, and just a little too late on the diversion play from Restart. He's a little bit of a restart on that Lord play again. I mean, if he was there just a couple seconds earlier, it could have been a totally different story. But with this Lord on Maple Leaf's side, they will be able to kind of take down some additional turrets, maybe able to take down some of the tier 2s. You're already seeing them working on their wave management. And Toru, he's doing good on keeping the distance. Even when you see Shiro trying to dive in, he knows he can't close the distance on this Natan.
Yeah, Yureshi just gets a surprise in that bush in the form of Restart, chaining together some of those yin-yangs, takes a ton of damages. It is going to have to back off, so they're not able to escort or get much value out of that Lord. Speaking of which, Shiro gets caught up at the top. Pavel not able to punish them for it. Conceal play is out as well. They're trying to chase down Toru, who uses that entropy to get himself back.
Ooh, invasion on the purple buff, though. Looks like they are able... No, I think Shiro was able to take the purple buff in that engagement. So I think it was a good denial. Maple Leaf definitely being aggressive. You can tell they're comfortable and feel like they have this game under wraps. A diversion play way out there for Joyboss for a potential setup.
Ooh, Joyboss does miss a Tyrant's Revenge. Ooh, nice connection from that Yin Yang. The damage coming out from Restart there. Almost put down 2 members of Maple Leafs there. J-Law's going to have to go back to base.
He forced out the Dominators to sit from J-Law with that damage. Man, I blinked for a split second, and he was almost obliterated by Restart. And, you know, we haven't really seen Restart have the heaviest impact so far, but, I mean, that's looking a little promising, right? At least we know the damage is there. We'll definitely have to take a look at some of these items to kind of see how that kind of happened. Endless Battle picked up, though, by Shiro in the process. Blade of Despair by Nasty Wayne. Cyree will be able to take the turret on the top side. Joyboss may have spotted out Pavel. Knows Toru's in that bush. Diversion play, though, to the mid lane.
Oh, they do find themselves, but they get caught in there. Yureshi is down. J-Law running for the hills, gets taken down by Shiro. A great diversion coming out from Godspeed, as now they're going to start their push onto this mid lane if they can, or are they just going to be secure enough to go for this next Lord?
That was massive from Restart. That may have turned the tide in Godspeed's favor.
Ooh, and Joyboss does miss himself a little bit of a pop-up there. Look at the damage coming out from Cyree. Speedy Light Wheel coming out. Shiro comes in, gets caught by the pop-up of the Lord, and Maple Leafs are not going to be able to contest this. Looking for a fight of their own, not able to find one. You can see that the shadow kill comes out, but does not find a kill onto Godspeed. I want to say this is probably the first Lord that I have seen come from Godspeed, so now starting to turn the tables a little bit on Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and with that Lord, I mean, they're going to be able to take this turret in the mid lane, which has been stopping them from having an easier time invading up against Maple Leaf. I wonder if they will be able to take it, though. You've seen a little bit of a passive play style from them. Diversion does go out. Nobody going to jump in on it. Luminous Lord may be wasted here in the process. No, they do take the turret in the mid lane. So now I would say it's a little bit more of equal footing. This is going to come down to the team fights, the way this is going, right? It's going to be a battle between the ADCs, between Cyree and also Toru, on who can stay alive and deal the hits necessary to turn the tide in the team's favor.
Yeah, now they're starting to defend and starting to finally be on the back foot is Maple Leafs. They have to clear out lanes. They're getting their jungle choked out from them, and the lead is starting to grow for the side of Godspeed. Now at about a firm 3K gold lead, but all of that can change very quickly. You see them not exactly wanting to go for Shiro. They know he's got the Finch pose. They know he can get away from them. So it's all going to be on the next few minutes here for the side of Maple Leafs if they're going to be able to mount a comeback.
When the nature picked up by Toru as well, he knows that the battle will be on the way soon enough when he has to face Sairi. And also Shiro, who did just pick up the Blade of Despair, has the Berserker's Fury, has the Hawk's Claws, the Endless Battle. Everybody revving up, trying to get full kit for this next engagement, right? The last Lord, we're able to see Godspeed get the steal and turn this match back around. Diversion play. Do they spot it out? No, they don't.
Yeah, Joey Bottas is out there, does get caught there, does find himself the revenge. Shiro finds a kill onto Nasty Wayne. Down goes Pavel. That's 2 down for the side of Maple Leaf, and the damage not enough for them as they are going to have to disengage. That is 2 down for Maple Leafs and 53 seconds still left. Oh, I'm offended. Lands on the Sairi. Down to J-Law as well. Joy Bosch losing the flicker to get himself. Toru chasing with the entropy is not able to find his target.
Yeah, he got a little greedy there. He should have kept that entropy for himself. But I got to give credits to Restart, right? These diversions. Oh, my goodness, Toru.
Yeah, Shiro comes out. He might be looking for a Tempest of Blades. He comes in, Tempest of Blades. Toru uses the entropy to get away. Great read from Toru to be able to get out of there, and especially dodging the Tempest of Blades from Shiro.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have necessarily agreed with him going back in and wasting the Tempest of Blades, though. He already baited out the Wind of Nature.
Oh, Nasty Wayne is actually having a little bit of trouble on this Hayabusa. I want to say a lot of trouble, especially even with Joybaj out there. This is going to go ahead, create the space if they're going to go ahead and start on this next Lord. It is a Luminous Lord, so it will have the charging power for these towers, and we're still waiting to see where the placement on the map is as both teams jockeying for a little bit of position. Joybaj and Restart find themselves a diversion, looking for an opportunity, do not find one. And it is anybody's guess right now. I want to say they don't really know where everybody is on the map. They're allowing another Lord to get taken there. Nasty Wayne not able to come in. Pavel gets caught with the Tyrant's Revenge. We do have the Last Insanity bursting damage. Here comes the Quad Shadows. Nasty Wayne not able to find a target, has to retreat.
Yeah, not able to find a window of opportunity. Godspeed is taking this game out of their grasp. Maple Leaf not having an easy time. You would think they would have been able to take this one, especially with having the favored composition. But Godspeed, they're adjusting, they're scaling through this series, and it is definitely showcasing in game number 3. You're going to see the Luminous Lord now on the top side. Massive gold lead. I wouldn't say too massive. It is up by about 5K, though, for the side of Godspeed at the 17-minute mark. We talked about the ADCs, though, and the damage. Corrosion Sight, Golden Staff, Demon Hunter Sword, all ready to go.
Yeah, and I want to say Restart's starting to really come online with his diversions. So when it comes to some of these objective fights, Maple Leafs having a hard time knowing where the enemy is on the map because they could literally be anywhere, especially a bush that you have checked a few seconds ago. Boom, entire team is there finding the flank on you. Yureshi finds himself a I'm Offended onto 2 members of Godspeed. They are going to be able to disengage. Still 2 high grounds with minions starting to push.
Yeah, now all Godspeed really has to do is just wait for them to push out, right? Wait for them to make a mistake. This next Lord will be spawning in, and they should be able to take it. They have a diversion to keep Maple Leaf on their toes as well. Maple Leaf, though, they're going to be a little aggressive, right? They're going to try and go in for the risky play. They just need to find Sairi. If they can take him down, or even Shiro, it's a good start to be able to earn this game.
Ooh, Divine in a little bit of trouble. Does have to get, he gets rid of some of that Faraga armor, gets rolled out on the backside. Look at the angles. That right now, Godspeed has just such great map presence and map control. Whether you've got Shiro all over the map on that Finch pose, or you have the threat of Restart with that diversion ultimate from the Lu Yi, getting the team anywhere on the map. 48 seconds left on this next Lord. If there is going to be a play from Maple Leafs, I feel like it has to be here.
It definitely has to be here, right? I mean, we're only getting later and later. The respawn timers are climbing, and right now Godspeed is in control, but not by a lot, right? It's just going to have to boil down to the macro and the micro at this point. When you're this late in the game, this is where Maple Leaf realizes, hey, we can be a little bit more aggressive. We can test the waters. If we catch just one member out of position, it could be the difference in winning this game. You're looking at a good split push, though, from Shiro. This is where the Ling starts to come into handy when it comes to wave management, right? He went to the top. Now he's going to go to the bottom. He's going to clear both out, which allows Godspeed to group up, and they have restart with the diversion when they're ready to go in for a possible counterplay against Maple Leafs invasion, trying to be a little greedy in their jungle.
Yeah, and you can see here Shiro starting to set up this next objective push. He's going to go ahead and start pushing onto the side lane, create that. Now Maple Leafs have to answer. So as soon as they see Nasty Wayne, they're going to go all in on this Lord. You see them immediately go. Nasty Wayne shows himself, so they're going to go ahead and start on this Lord. They know that he's not going to be in part of this fight very early. They're trying to find the targets down. Out comes the glorious pathway. A pop-up onto all three members. Immortality has been procced in the back. Yureshi uses a flicker to find himself some safety right now. Lord has been pushed back as well. A kill, shadow kill, is going to be able to find its target down there. It doesn't. X-Borg able to get away. Shadow kill lands onto Shiro. He does use the Tempest of Blades, and down goes Nasty Wayne. That might be all she wrote. That is a retreat down for Maple Leafs. They are not going to be able to 50-50 this Lord. The best they could find is possibly a fight with Godspeed that they are going to be successful. Speaking of which, glorious pathway comes out. Toru makes short work of the enemy team. Joybaj finds himself a set, but it is not enough as J-Law takes him down. 2 down for the side of Godspeed. They can't even go for the Lord right now as Shiro runs off to find his split push.
That was a good play by Maple Leaf to delay the Lord push from the side of Godspeed. They were almost able to take that, but they bought themselves a little bit of time. But how much time is the question? Toru getting into position. They still don't have the retribution for Maple Leaf, but Godspeed, they're down 2 members. They're down their ADC, which means they know they'll lose in the engagement, especially with Toru still online with this Natan.
Yeah, finally, Nasty Wayne comes online. He's finally back here. Not 50% just yet onto this Lord. Divine doing a great job keeping vision, making sure that his team knows. In comes Shiro, looking for an opportunity, and they pull out the Lord. A great bait from the side of Maple Leafs to kind of keep this game in action. They do lose a tower. Toru looking for the stun. Here comes Glorious Pathway. Stun onto Shiro. Tempest of Blade comes out, and he finds himself an escape route. Meanwhile, Kufra jumps in. Joybaj, Sairi finds the kill onto Yureshi. The rest of Godspeed turning their attention to this Lord while Divine heads up the front line to head off Maple Leaf. Joybaj misses himself a little bit of a slingshot there. Shadow kill comes out. Restart gets very low. Nasty Wayne finds the kill at the top. Shiro looking for the split push. Is he going to be able to find it? Pavel comes in, and down goes an Immortality. Can Shiro find himself an escape? He does not. And just like that, Maple Leafs may have found themselves an answer, may have found themselves a free Lord.
They may have just costed themselves the game as well. I mean, that just definitely was not the move. Shiro overstayed his welcome over there with the split push. Joybaj, like you said, missing that slingshot was huge. You could have had a 3-man setup right there, but then it led to them being able to take down Restart. But here's the split push. Sairi!
Yeah, Sairi trying to put on the speedy light wheel. Is it going to be enough? Shadow kill is out. Down goes a Sairi. Nasty Wayne finds another kill from the split push. Maple Leafs hanging on by a thread, trying their best to answer some of these split pushes coming from Godspeed.
Well, that should be a guaranteed Lord now for the side of Maple Leaf. Shiro's not going to be there inside. Maybe a diversion play and a quick steal from Restart.
Yeah, Nasty Wayne's going to go ahead and cancel back. Toru picks up the Lord. Diversion is out, but just moments too late to take advantage of Maple Leaf. Right now, 10-10 apiece. Lord for the side of Maple Leafs. It's all on how Godspeed can defend, if they can, against this Lord.
Yeah, I mean, Cyrie's still not in, so they're not going to be able to burst down this Lord. Marching down the mid lane, the red carpet has been rolled out. Maple Leaf ready to deny the bonus round and claim game number 3. Can they do it? A 5v5 is now on the way.
Yeah, a great job by Divine to kind of distract the Lord and try to drag him out. Here comes the speedy light wheel getting bursted down. Shiro perched up, looking for an angle. Can't find one from the back. Joybosh finds a hit onto Yureshi. I'm offended there as well. Joybosh getting bursted down. He might not survive. Immortality has been procced for him, and down goes Joybosh.
Oh, yeah, with him bursted down, they do not have their roamer. Shiro quickly trying to provide the way management. He's having such a major impact on stopping Maple Leaf from closing this out, right? Every time he's going to the side lanes, he's making the most out of that Finch pose to be able to take down these minions to stop the push to end this game from Maple Leaf.
Shiro has become the almighty. Oh, gets a shadow kill, but just narrowly loses it. Yureshi on the opposite side, looking for a Finch pose. Here comes the Tempest of Blades, and none of the team is able to capitalize on it. Yureshi comes in, is not able to find the CC that he is looking for.
Man, they could not get Shiro at all. He's just able to get in there, able to get what he needs, and gets out. Even with 3 members of Maple Leaf on his tail. This is going to be another battle, possibly for this Lord, spawning in the next minute. The longest game we've seen so far between Godspeed and Maple Leaf for our final series of the day. We're looking at the items. Everybody stacked out. Lots of immortality. There's 4 immortalities on the side of Maple Leaf for a second chance at an engagement. 2 immortalities for the side of Godspeed. But you are seeing some winter crowns popping in there as well, especially from Lu Yi, who did have a lot of good placements with the diversion.
Oh, you see the Glorious Pathway is out. Joybosh with the bait. They do not go far enough, so they do chase away the rest of Godspeed. But man, Shiro is all over the map, man. You see him at the bottom lane. You know that they're going to go ahead and start this fight as soon as they see Shiro on the line. He shows himself down there. They are running away, so they're not going to be able to take advantage of this. And now split pushing, that is going to have to be dealt with as you see J-Law going to the bottom lane.
Man, both sides fighting for their life. It only takes one mistake for the difference of who will be victorious for this game. Now at the 26-minute mark, Luminous Lord spawned in. Who's going to be able to take this opportunity?
Yeah, you see Divine just get caught with an I'm offended. Restart in trouble. Almost gets a stun for his efforts. Glorious Pathway comes out possibly a little bit too early. Now they have to answer the waves, and the Lord is started right now by the side of Godspeed. Is Nasty Wayne going to be able to get back in time? Minions now have met at the base, and look at half health right now, still getting bursted down. The rest of Godspeed have to back up. In comes Yureshi, and the Lord is reset now. They're doing such a great job. They bait the Lord out to try to answer Nasty Wayne because he's not clearing the minions. He's waiting for his minions to spawn so that it can meet the minions halfway. And now Maple Leafs are going to have to answer these waves. If now, maybe later, here comes the diversion out. Does not go through with it. Minions have been cleared out, and starting to take a position around the Lord is Godspeed. You look at Shiro coming down from that Finch pose. This might be the last Lord. 10% is out there. Joybosh. Yureshi comes in. Are they going to be able to find it? Syrie finds the Lord. Glorious Pathway is out. Maple Leafs are unable to punish the side of Godspeed for it.
What a take. A steal for Godspeed. The Luminous Lord now on the top side may guarantee them their first game for this series. The split push from Shiro, too much to deal with, forcing Nasty Wayne to stay back in the base, which extends the distance for being able to get that retribution and be a part of these lore takes. And it is working like a charm. Now, Maple Leaf having to fight off not only a Luminous Lord, but and only a mid inhibitor standing, which may be bursted down here shortly.
Oh, Nasty Wayne got caught. They make short work of Maple Leaf's jungler. This does not bode well for a Lord up at the top, minions through the mid. Yureshi having to back up. Glorious Pathway up at the top. Joybaj trying to defend up at the top. That is the last high ground. Goes down. Now the damage starts onto Maple Leaf's core. Are they going to be able to defend it? 10% left. Shiro goes down. Joybaj finds a kill onto Toru. And ladies and gentlemen, Godspeed able to answer back with a victory of their own.
That Lord was entirely too strong for them to be able to burst down. And that just shows you how late of a game we had right there. The longest game of this entire series and the first victory for Godspeed. A potential to take us to a game number 5. They just need one more. But the question is, can they do it? It wasn't an easy victory, right? It was really a match of ping pong. It could have landed either side.
Yeah, and they had no answer for the split pushing. They could only respond to it after it happened. So, I mean, a great job for the side of Godspeed, realizing that they were losing some of these fights. They weren't going to be able to match it up. And then starting with the split pushing, like, bro, I want to say at the end, toward the late game, they just went like 110% split push. Shiro tried to get it. They weren't able to find it. Then Sairi went for it with Joybaj. They weren't able to get it. Then Shiro was back up, and he's like right back at it, and they were able to hit Maple Leafs from all of these different angles that they just were not able to keep up with in the end.
Yeah, they were able to close it out for that game, giving them another chance to even out this series and find a way to climb up that ladder in points as we are in round 2. It's hard to give an MVP on this one, right? I mean, it was an interesting composition too. It wasn't the easiest thing for Godspeed to pull off, but they found a way to do it, and that's what they're going to have to do again in the next match if they want to have a chance to shut down Maple Leaf. Now, Maple Leaf going forward from here, they got to have an answer to the split pushes. That's really what was breaking them down in that late game, not able to match Shiro, outcutting and finding the opportunity.
I don't know if you saw it there, but Restart had like 145,000 damage dealt for his team, which was just an amazing amount for the Lu Yi on there, which meant that like every single time they were getting caught, they were connecting those yin-yangs here. And you see here the objectives, 12-7 in favor of Godspeed. And the gold per minute, man, they were actually behind when it came to the gold per minute, but able to kind of find those angles that they needed for the split pushes.
Yeah, down to the nitty gritty is what it kind of boiled to, with both of these sides fighting it out on these engagements. And you're going to see the MVP go to Divine over there, just having a really good game. But honestly, it's a really hard one to kind of give it to, because I feel like everybody was just this match was all over the place, you know. you want to say it was one player, but overall, it was just the composition. I would even say like Shiro rotating around and creating that opportunity with the split pushes. I would, if anybody got the MVP for that, I think it should be him. But just tracked off the stats, I guess maybe you can give it to Divine. But this gives them another window of opportunity to claim this series in their favor.
Yeah, the only thing is, I want to say Ling was on what? It's hard. I know Divine gets the MVP here, but the big part of the story too has to go to the split pushing from Shiro on this Ling. I don't think that that's going to be a mistake that the side of Maple Leafs make again, allowing something that can create that window of opportunity for them in the side lanes again.
And going forward for game number 4, what does Maple Leaf do here, right? Godspeed, they got the momentum, they found their groove, and they're starting to roll. Can they keep up that momentum, though? That's the question we have to ask, right? Game 1 and 2, you got to see a little bit of a struggle for them getting online and finding those opportunities. But I would say they're starting to scale. And this seems to be the pattern with a lot of these teams this season, right? You think it's going to be one-sided. You see one team dominate in game 1. You're like, okay, it should be the same thing in 2, 3, possibly 4. But that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing the losing side start to even out the competition, start to find where they went wrong and match it, and sometimes even do it better. And that's what we got to see inside of game number 3. So definitely credits over there to Godspeed. But can they do it one more time to take us to a bonus round?
Yeah, and that's the name of the game here. It might take us, it might be overtime for us casters here at the desk, finally seeing that bonus round if Godspeed can mount us another victory here against Maple Leafs. I expect right now, Maple Leafs, I expect that Ling to be taken off of the table, but who do you change out for it? I want to say they've had it was the Fanny, Fovius, and Bane have been taken off the field. Oh, but they have the first pick here, so they don't even need to give or ban the Ling. They could pick up the Ling because they showed that they were actually very well versed with it when they played it in game 2. So, I mean, it might just come down to who's got first pick here for both of these teams.
Yeah, and it should definitely, I would say, possibly be Maple Leaf. They should have first pick for this next match, which means they don't really have, like you mentioned, to really worry about the Ling. And honestly, I feel like they didn't even really think the Ling was going to be an issue when they were drafting, right? I mean, we saw them just ban out the Bane, and they're like, okay, we can just put on pressure in the early phase. But what Godspeed did, they took out that Jawhead, and that is really kind of helped them stop having the assassin pressure in the early phase. But without that Jawhead, it seems like they found their answer. They're able to kind of thrive with their assassins. So I wonder, even if they don't pick the Ling, can they still get the job done? And that's what we're going to be finding out between both of these teams. I think overall, Godspeed, that was a really good game for them, right? I was hoping that it wouldn't be a one-sided story, and we're not seeing that today. We're seeing an even more spicy competition as we scale through this series compared to Series 1. And that just shows you, we've been here since the beginning. We've seen a lot of, we've been back in NACT where there was such a massive gap in competition to where we predicted it was just an all-unanimous decision. But with this series, it wasn't unanimous, right? It was almost an even split between who voted for each team.
Yeah, and especially now, for me, it's going to be on who picks up this Ling, do they pick up the Ling, and does the enemy get the Jawhead? I want to say it wasn't just the Ling pick. It was the fact that Jawhead was banned, which was, I want to say, countering Ling on easy mode for the side of Maple Leafs. And with that taken off the table, they had a much harder fight ahead of them to be able to kind of be successful. And they found themselves on the back end of a lot of split push and a lot of needing to be everywhere at once, and they couldn't even put their focus anywhere for a lot of these team fights. And to the point that they were getting ready for a Lord, they were warmed up, and then they see Ling on the opposite end. They're like, God, we have to go back, and they all have to back up to find to be able to stop the push.
Yeah, and it was just forcing their jungle in a very awkward position. He was not able to kind of join these team fights because he had to go back with the Hayabusa to clear the waves. It was the wave management that was really crucial to closing out that late game, and the wave management definitely was in Godspeed's favor. And like we said, the MVP, it went to Divine, but in my opinion, the wave management is what really helped them win that game. And there's some good, I would say, restart even came online, right? I was asking the question when the game began. You see players that pull out this Lu Yi and they're not aggressive on the diversion plays, right? They're kind of passive. They hold on to it, and then they do a little weird teleport here and there, and it doesn't really lead to anything. And that's how he kind of started the game off, right? We were kind of like, I guess you could have teleported there, but I mean, it didn't really do anything. But then out of nowhere, man, a switch just turned on in his brain, a light bulb popped up, and it was like it was a whole different player. And he was able to find the opportunities with Joy Bosch. I was asking how the Kufra and the Lu Yi combination worked out. And it was interesting because I thought he would teleport with Joy Bosch the entire time on these diversion plays. But a lot of times he was just sending Joy Bosch by himself.
Well, and that kind of comes along because you didn't really, when you have a Tigreal there, you have the peeling power of the Tigreal. So if somebody jumps on you, you can run away, and as the Tigreal just like grabs all of them. When it's a Kufra, if the enemy jumps on you, the Kufra's not going to be able to protect you. So I mean, they adjusted very well, and I agree with you. The early diversions from Lu Yi, I was kind of like, oh man, it's one of those Lu Yis. But as it started getting into the late game, the presence on the map, you had to watch for diversions. You didn't know where the enemy was, even in bushes that you had just checked. They could have been anywhere for a lot of this fight. Combine that with the split pushing, and there was no way for them to ever be at ease or to ever fully commit onto the Lord, which was ultimately their downfall.
And I feel like with their composition, it was harder for them to be able to pull off such a task compared to what we saw from Maple Leaf. So if they're able to pull that off, it's only imaginable with the even easier composition what they can kind of showcase to the world. So for game number 4, all right, Private, we have yet to see a bonus round. I'm manifesting this into reality.
Yeah, we might get one here if they can continue to take this momentum. But like I said, a lot of the answers that they found in the last game might be taken away from them in this game. Because, I mean, you're not going to potentially, we already see here, Maple Leaf's going to be the number 1 here. And, I mean, Phoveus still available out there, too. I'm wondering if they're going to ban that or if they're looking for the Ling pickup, especially because they have banned out Jawhead, which is going to make Ling, I want to say, the priority pick here.
Yeah, Ling should be the priority. They could even go a step further, maybe choose if they want the Nolan or the Hayabusa inside of Godspeed's hands. But they're going to go ahead and take down this Lu Yi. I think that's a wise decision. I mean, they had majority of that game in their favor before Restart came online with the Lu Yi, right? Once he got a quick teleport and he caught him off position, they were able to get like 1 or 2 kills each time. And that is what tipped the scales inside of Godspeed's favor. So taking that Lu Yi off the board, I feel like it should be smooth sailing from them, at least from what we've seen. There goes that Phoveus that you're giving credit to. It looks like they kind of sniffed that out. They are going to take that off the table. Up for grabs is the Ling, though. That's the question. You mentioned the Ling and the Jawhead being the deciding factors on who's victorious in this series, and now Ling is up for the taking. Do they take it here, though? Do they feel like maybe it was the Lu Yi that caused the difference and the Ling just kind of benefited from it in the late game with the split push? Was it really the answer that kind of denied them and won the game? Or was it that Lu Yi on those quick teleports that caught him out of position to be able to take those neutral objectives? They are going to go ahead and take the Ling, though, and I think that is the smartest thing they can do here. But now, what does Godspeed do to respond?
Yeah, and that's the big thing here. What do you do to respond to a Ling because you just took off his biggest counter from the playing field?
It's tough. It's really tough. I mean, at least they still have a lot available in terms of getting a decent composition. I feel like they don't even necessarily need to lock their jungle in here. They can definitely go for the Edith. They can go for the Ruby. They can even log in a Mage. They can go for the Valentina, put a little bit of pressure. Maybe even the Mathilda if they want to go in for the support method, lock it up with something. The Hylos and the Vexana. So this is the beauty about the meta, right? There's just so much available for grabs when you're second pick in the draft. There's so many combinations that you can do, and they all work really well. But the Ling, that's what's been the highlight of today's series. Can it pull Maple Leaf to a victory, or has Godspeed found an answer?
Well, you still have the Matilda up on the field, too, which can kind of find you an angle around this Hylos. But the Hylos is going to be a problem. It's going to need something that's going to have to burst it down. And that kind of means that you're probably going to be looking at needing a marksman in your lane. You're not going to be able to go with that flex Ruby or that flex Edith or something into the marksman lane just because you're going to need something eventually. Hylos is going to get too big. He's going to get too powerful, and you're going to need something that can maybe meld well with the Demon Hunter sword to be able to kind of bring him down. Right now, you're going to have a huge early game for the side of Godspeed. They're going to be able to take these objectives. They're going to have Hylos. I've seen Hylos push back an entire team with those first 2 lords with a glorious pathway just because of how strong he can get in those opening moments. On the side of Maple Leafs, they scoop up Edith and they scoop up the Valentina, which means that they're going to have that IMU. They're going to have the threat of being able to take maybe this Eternal Guardian from Restart. I don't really think you're going to have you could have a glorious pathway out there as well.
Yeah, and they're going to go ahead and pick up the Cho for Joy Bosch. We got to see him use this Cho in week 1, day 1. Had a really good performance as well. So maybe that could be something to keep Maple Leaf on their toes, right? I mean, the way the Dragon can definitely isolate, kind of like the Jawhead with the ejector, right? I mean, it's kind of similar to it. Maybe that's why they did it. If the Jawhead can do it, hey, Cho can too. And if anybody can pull it off, it's definitely Joy Bosch. But looking at both compositions right now, we're seeing the Vexana, we're seeing the Valentina. You mentioned things that the Valentina can profit on, and now the way the Dragon is an additional tool that can be, dumped in that bag. But we have yet to see what marksmans are going to come online, right? The Alice gets banned out. There goes the Wan. We've seen Zia on the Wan, how much of a impactful force it can have in this fall season. But there's still a lot on the table, right? You have the Claude. who can definitely jump in there and deal some damage. You have the Roger, who has yet to be picked up for this series or for this game, and still can be because we don't know who the jungler is for Godspeed.
They still have some options. I want to say Harith maybe might not be a pick just because of the Cho on the field. And Joy Bush has a magnificent Cho. I remember way back in the day when it was BTK taking on Area 77, the Cho was probably the only thing that could stop some of the assassins that that BTK was able to bring out. Whether it was a Karina, he was able to get in there, find the way of the dragon. And we saw a huge example of this in the last series, how well it can kind of get in and isolate folks from the enemy team. Oh, and then a big focus onto the assassins from the side of Maple Leafs as we take down Nolan, we take down the Hayabusa, which only really leaves open. I'm not even sure what that kind of leaves open for them sides. I mean,
Roger
pickup possibly. Roger, you talked about. As far as assassins are concerned, I don't know, maybe Hellcurt. Hellcurt really hasn't been a mainstay in the meta so far yet, especially here in North America.
Maybe we see another Lancelot game today. I mean, you never know. These teams are full of surprises. But yeah, there's not really an ADC picked up yet. They're going to go ahead and go in. Okay, so this should be a Roger picked up for the jungle. Considering they picked up the Ruby, it's the only thing that I can kind of make sense of here. If not, it's definitely going to be one of those surprises that I always look forward to. But they do need a little bit more push potential, right? This is why I think they have to have the Roger now to be able to extend that range and deal that damage. But is that what they're going to go in for? Now, Maple Leaf on the other side, they have this Ling. It's been such a threat. It's been able to do a lot of things. Oh, wait a second. They pull out the Diggy. Well, Private, make sense of this for me. What's going on? What is this?
I'm actually a little confused. We do see the Freya come out as well. If that's going to be in the marksman lane, that's going to be a first for me as well. A good amount of sustain, a good amount of early game damage, just a little lacking when it comes to some of the range. It's an interesting combination here. It's something almost a Hail Mary from the side of Maple Leafs, I want to say. Unfortunately, this is kind of what I've started to expect from the side of Maple Leafs when it comes to some of those last matches. Last week we saw the sun come out too. Maybe maybe we get a little more indecisive when it becomes those high pressure situations where we go with picks that we normally wouldn't. A Granger on the other side as well. So this is going to be a trade. This is going to be very interesting. This is a lot of heroes that we don't normally see.
Now, I'm over here looking at chats. I'm trying to figure out, like, is this a redraft? Because I'm asking a lot of questions here. I mean, these are heroes that were at the very bottom of my list to select here. I mean, we got a Diggy, a Freya. I'm over here thinking, is Mikasa over here on Maple Leaf? Like, what's going on? Pulling out the Granger when I guess, hey, we said they needed a marksman. I mean, especially with that Ruby running in that gold lane, and I guess maybe Granger can do it. We've seen a YSS step into the scene before as well, so they're definitely keeping things interesting. Now, keep in mind, this is a risky play, though, in my opinion, from Maple Leaf. Like, they need to secure this victory. They need to get the 3-1. They cannot afford for Godspeed to take this 2-2. This game literally could be why either one of these teams do not make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, this is a very interesting composition coming out from both of these teams. We're going to know in a few seconds if it is the right composition. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at game 4 of a possible 5 if Godspeed can mount and keep the momentum that they got from the last game. There are no pauses. It looks like this is going to be the compositions that we're going with, Wheezy.
I am at a loss for words, but hey, I'm all for it, man. We wanted some surprises, and they are bringing it. The Granger Danger is now going to be locked inside of the jungle for Godspeed, paired up against Nasty Wayne on this Ling, who we've seen be such a threat. But now, I mean, Granger's going to have to watch out because Ling has dive potential if he wants to focus him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's why Granger's really not at the top of my list of, like, things to go against the Ling for. Ling, Hayabusa, like, there's just no shot that Granger's going to be able to get away. Potentially, he might be able to dash out of the range of Ling from his Tempest of Blades, but I mean, kind of outright, you're going to have some issues from the side, from their side when it comes to contesting some of these objectives.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like they just wanted to go to a game 5. They want to be the first to make history for this NACT. That's the only thing I can possibly think about with this draft. Now, let's see what Toru has to bring to the table, right? Is this a Mikasa? Does he have Freya mastered the same way? Is he a threat that people will be talking about for ages for NACTs to come? A lot of damage, though. Both of these teams ready to take the fight, ready to earn their spot, ready to gain these points.
Yeah, you see good positioning. Shiro kind of doing a great job on this Lord. Big pop-up on the restart. Takes a heap of damage. Down he goes to J-Law. In comes Nasty Wayne. Finding the kill onto the Lord. Chasing down Shiro. Tempest of Blades is out, and that's going to be a wrap for Shiro's Granger. Divine caught with the reverse time. A big pop-up there, and another kill on the belt of Nasty Wayne.
Able to get 3 kills in a row. I mean, it's a risky play. It's going to be very hard, though. I mean, Shiro, he's running the Granger. Granger has to get online early. He has to get these kills. And he needs protection on top of that, right? And if he doesn't have any of these and your team's not meeting these objectives, Maple Leaf is going to start rolling that snowball very early.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if they, oh man, I want to say maybe we went with something a little bit more comfortable for each player there, especially Joybaj is on the Cho. He's been very favorable with that Cho before. Toru actually trying to take it to Sairi, does see Joybaj coming from the flank, is going to try to disengage. Oh, does find it, I'm offended with the flicker, does use the ultimate, and it is not going to be enough. That Valkyrie's Descent making a momentary appearance before eventually 4 members of Godspeed have the cleanup crew down at the bottom lane. Pavel in trouble here. We do have a pause out on the map. Yoreshi calls a pause, possibly a couple of lag issues keeping them, but the score 3-1 and a 10K to 9K right now.
Oh, man, I have mixed emotions about this game. I wonder how Pavel is going to have an impact with this Diggy. That's really what I'm looking at. I mean, once you saw them invade, once you saw that I'm offended, I mean, there's not really much he could do there. He couldn't even close the distance to get the time journey. And then when he's by himself, he's an easy target to burst down. So it's not really, I feel like he's not going to be a threat. Not going to be a threat at all for them to be able to get the kills on. So they have to be a little bit more careful, right? When you don't have a strong frontline tank and you have a Diggy playing that role, you got to be a little bit more decisive on what you decide to engage on, especially if they're going to start ganking and outnumbering you on top of that. Then you have to at least match the numbers. You need your mage to rotate down. You need somebody there to kind of make up the difference.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick, especially I want to say because there's an assortment of burst on the side of Godspeed right now. It can be a detriment for Diggy. His biggest counter is just burst damage. Things like Gord, things like Vexana, who can lay a decent amount of damage. This actually might be a very early tower for the side of Godspeed. Nasty Wayne powerless to do anything, just able to watch as Godspeed actually tears that down. J-Law finds a little bit of damage onto Joybaj. It's not going to be a difference maker here, though.
Yeah, not going to really have too heavy of an impact. They lost that turret. Even though they had 3 kills, losing that turret means that Godspeed technically is in the lead right now because they have ground control. We are going to go ahead and see this turtle spawn in, though, here in the next 5 seconds, and a heavy blue rotation around it from Maple Leaf. We got to see how Godspeed tries to initiate this, right? Joybaj, he needs to isolate possibly Nasty Wayne with the Way of the Dragon. May even go in and try and take down Pavel is the game plan.
Oh, and just like that, we were talking about it. The burst damage comes out, and down goes Pavel on this. A glorious pathway is out, looking for an opportunity. Nasty Wayne still gets the Lord. In a little bit of trouble now is Toru, trying to look for an escape. Yoreshi putting some damage out as well. Finds the kill onto Sairi. The back line of Godspeed looking for an escape. That is a Lord, or a turtle, excuse me, that goes over to Maple Leafs with a kill.
Yeah, able to get that kill. Now extending it 4-2. 2 turtles for the side of Maple Leaf. On top of that, Nasty Wayne leading the way in kills as well. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, Pavel catching himself another bit of a damage there, accompanied by restart on that Vexana. Here comes Joybaj again, comes in, catches himself a Jikundo. We do have the time journey. Toru finds himself a tower, and that is just how fast, that's how fast a Freya can work. And on the opposite side of the map, Nasty Wayne finds a tower of his own.
Yeah, able to match a tower for a tower, possibly. You're going to see still Maple Leaf in the lead, though, 2-1 in terms of at least turrets for this game. We're only 5 minutes in. There's been a lot of aggression compared to the other matches.
Oh, yeah, Pavel gets caught again. Way of the Dragon is out. Oh, but the reverse time actually backs him up. Restart with the finishing touches there as well. Yureshi taking a ton of damage. Might not be able to get away even with the Primal Wrath out. Here comes Toru trying to put on the damage. Finds himself a kill onto Joybaj, but the CC might be... Oh, it's not enough. Shiro finds the kill. Sairi finds one of his own. That is 3 down for the side of Godspeed. Divine looking for an escape, but Nasty Wayne with that Tempest of Blade chases him down.
All right, they just got to be having fun out here because there wasn't even an objective to fight for right there. Everybody just said, let's meet up in the mid and see who can withstand the other. And it looks like Maple Leaf was able to win that engagement. Now 9-5. Turtle is going to spawn in. You are looking at a goal lead of about 3K in Maple Leaf's favor.
Yeah, I want to say it's sloppy, but it's working. It's basically two contenders standing in the middle of the ring, trying to see who can duke it out. And right now, Maple Leafs is really winning the slugfest.
Yeah, they're definitely having weighted gloves when it comes to these fights, and Godspeed cannot take that lightly. Shiro yet to find a kill. We talked about the Granger. If he doesn't get online early, he has a hard time catching up in the damage necessary, especially being the marksman.
Big I'm offended under the tower does force out the time journey from Pavel, and they are going to go ahead and save this mid tower.
Yeah, able to save it, which is huge, right? We know when that turret falls, it opens up opportunity for invasion on your side of the jungle, and Godspeed wants no part of that. Now, Pavel, he's doing good on the Diggy. I'm surprised, right? I mean, he did great on the Jawhead, but he's 0-2-8 on this Diggy. He has 8 assists so far. It looked like a rough start, but he's been able to find that distance and be impactful, as we've seen some of the items on the board and engagement on the way.
Yeah, Yureshi gets caught. Look at the chain CC. He doesn't even have a moment to react because they chained so much CC onto him and able to burst him down. Glorious Pathway is out. Pavel gets caught, and that is a Diggy down.
Yeah, Diggy down just when I gave him credit. Maybe it was a little too early. And now they're going to go ahead and try and take this tier 2, but the denial from Nasty Wayne.
Oh, man, Nasty Wayne able to come in, is not able to clear out the lane, but, man, the damage he was able to put onto Shiro. And that's the problem with picking a Granger into a Ling. The amount of damage that he can output and then just negate yours by having the Tempest of Blades is way too much. Oh, Big I'm offended. As soon as the Glorious Pathway comes out, there is CC all over the map as Toru in the back lane finding the kill onto Joybaj.
Man, they are putting on a show today, showing the world what NA is all about. They're having the time of their life out there. Right now, Maple Leaf 11-7, still finding a way to keep this game under wraps. Lord has spawned in, though. Looks like they are going to try and take control of this area. But Godspeed, I mean, they have range, right? You have the Death Sonata over there from Shiro to be able to hit from afar, but he has to be able to close that distance to get the retribution.
Ooh, you see them trying to jock for position around this Lord. It isn't even a Luminous Lord. Everybody's kind of going back and forth. Big pop-up lands. Yureshi in a little bit of trouble. Way of the Dragon. 2 Glorious Pathways are out. Oh! Shiro finds a kill onto Yureshi. Tempest of Blades is out. 2 kills now for the side of Godspeed. They're able to answer back with 3 as Toru is tearing through Godspeed right now. That is a jungler. Oh, a jungler is still up for the side of Godspeed, but this is going to be a free Lord for the side of Maple Leaf.
That was a beautiful I'm offended, though, to be able to group everybody together and get some kills, but quickly punished by Maple Leaf. And with this Lord in their hands, looks like they may be able to take some of these tier 2 turrets. Even work toward this turret in the mid lane, which they've been struggling to. We see them stack up, everybody fighting it out. Even when they win the trade, they still have yet to take that down, which kind of denies them invading, but they stripped them down to the inhibitor on the bot side.
I can't believe right now that Toru is is doing so well with this Freya marksman lane. And he's sitting there 6-2-3 right now, just behind Nasty Wayne, who's 7-0-2. It's just amazing to see Lord at the bottom. They're still trying to put this pressure onto this mid lane, but Godspeed doing a decent job. Glorious Pathway is out. J-Law through the back line, trying to put on some damage, is not going to be able to put on enough. Oh, look at Nasty Wayne hiding in the back. He gets caught, though. Look at the amount of CC. He thought he had himself a hiding spot, but there was just way too much CC on the side of Godspeed for him to put up with.
This is the slowest Lord push I've ever seen on the bot side. They're just fighting it out of the mid.
Yeah, Glorious Pathway is out again. A huge amount of CC means that the side of Maple Leafs are not going to be able to push onto that tower. Lord crashing down at the bottom. You can see Syrie going to the top to answer. Are they going to be able to save that tower? They are not. That means that mid lane of both side lanes are down to the high ground. Mid lane is the only tier 1 tower that still stands for the side of Godspeed.
Yeah, the only one left standing, but the most important. So I guess, hey, that's a little bit of a victory for them. How long can they hold this off, though? I mean, you're looking at another play.
Yeah, Glorious Pathway comes out. J-Law takes a heap of damage. It's not going to be enough to kind of fend off. Oh, gets bursted down by Shiro on the backside. Joybaz goes in, is able to find himself a Jeet Kune Do to escape from the enemy team. 14-11 in favor of Maple Leafs, but I want to say with each passing minute, Godspeed starting to look a little bit more and more solid, not taking a huge, like they're starting to get past the point where this surprise damage from Maple Leafs is going to matter.
Look at Joybaz waiting to get the set with the Jeet Kune Do, trying to get a Way of the Dragon for Godspeed to capitalize on. Nasty Wayne, I mean, he's doing pretty good, right? 7-1-2 on this Ling. We've seen it be such a threat this entire series. They're able to lock it in with first pick.
Oh, Tempest Blades comes out, and Nasty Wayne able to find himself an escape. Joybaz not able to do anything. Oh, Nasty Wayne goes for Joybaz. I think he mishit. I think he wanted to go for Shiro, but accidentally the target priority took him to Joybaz. They do have a player down. Shiro goes down anyway, but at the mid lane, Syrie doing great things at the mid lane, able to kind of force the rest of the team to answer.
And able to split push in the mid. He was almost able to take down that tier 2 turret. Syrie, eyes on the prize, and now both sides ready to fight for this Lord.
Yeah, this is going to be a free Lord for the Maple Leafs, despite what Godspeed might be trying to do here. Big pop-up does land here. Glorious Pathway is out. Nasty Wayne waiting for an opportunity or an angle that he can find. Ooh, Toru, look at the damage that's coming out from him. Immediately able to half down Syrie. J-Law putting some damage onto Joybaz. Joybaz doing the best he can to try to protect this tower. It might be all she wrote, though, as Maple Leafs able to push through. Lord at the bottom. Minions synced up for all 3 lanes. They're going to go ahead and take down another tier 2. We are left, ladies and gentlemen, to only high ground towers for the side of Godspeed. They have to answer this Lord. Are they going to be able to split up their priority? As at the top, Nasty Wayne, ooh, he's not going to be able to push that. He accidentally misses a minion, so that means he's not going to have that lane synced up to be able to push onto the high ground. Big pop-up lands on the 3 members of the Maple Leafs. They answer with a pop-up of their own. J-Law finds a kill onto Joybaz, pushing back the rest of Godspeed so they can get that mid-high ground tower. Now going to have to answer to the top one, and this might be all she wrote for Godspeed. The answer for the Ling might not be that Granger.
Yeah, now they're going to look for a finish.
Yeah, Glorious Pathway is out. Divine comes in through the backside, gets taken out by J-Law. Big pop-up. This is going to be all she wrote. The last finishing touches. Maple Leaf take the game, upping their series 3-1 against Godspeed.
A lot of mixed emotions going on right now. Maple Leaf able to push through. 3-1 denies the bonus round from Godspeed, who is slowly starting to scale, finding answers, but just not quick enough.
Yeah, I mean, a great game there played, especially the Freya pick coming out, able to handle the gold lane. A lot of those fights, Freya was just doing a ton of damage that could not be answered by Godspeed right away, especially when you had a decently, I want to say, squishy lineup in the early game. Hylos, I mean, is still tanky. Ruby comes along with some items, but by the time she was coming online, Freya had already gotten a decent amount of damage off already. And you can see here 19 to 12 for a 14-minute game there.
I mean, that was definitely entertaining. And Pavel, I was wondering how he was going to pull off that Diggy. It was looking very shaky in the beginning, but he came online and he made it work. That's the first Diggy. That's the first of a lot of things we've seen this NACT. I mean, a lot of new heroes have been brought to the table today, not only in this series, even the series before. We got to see a Granger now. We got to see a Diggy and so much more. I love what this NACT fall season is bringing to the table. Definitely congratulations over to Maple Leaf, though. That's a major step in the right direction in terms of points to be able to climb up that ladder and get even closer to that top 4 placement.
Yeah, I mean, we knew right from the draft that there were some shaky things out there to the point that we almost thought it was a misdraft. I mean, a Granger into a Ling, the Diggy coming out. The Freya, I want to say I wasn't too surprised about. Toru does play Freya. I want to say I think it was banned in one of the last series that Maple Leaf was in. But man, and showing exactly why. Just played it just absolutely immense amounts of damage out there, almost doubled the damage there. You see here 240,000 for the side of Maple Leafs, 150,000 for the side of Godspeed.
Man, just a beautiful game in both these sides, giving it their all. And I think the last one was just having a little bit of fun on top of it, right? Toru is going to be the one to secure that MVP. He's just been doing such a great job for their team. The man's just been all over the place lately in today's matches in the gold lane, right? And I got to give him credit, right? I mean, he's just been so effective, able to get that build as quickly as possible and then rushes in and finds the opportunity that the team's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they had, especially when it comes to Godspeed, they had a good plan when it came to that third game. But once the Ling was taken off the board for them, I think they knew that all of the answers that they found in the last game just were not going to be able to work against the team the way Maple Leafs have been playing here. Some great sets there. Joey Baj did a great job as well, but it just, in the end, was not enough. Maple Leafs have just been too well put together of a team. The synergy is pretty much off the charts. Even when they are against the wall, when it comes to getting picks set upon them, they always find the great micro to be able to escape, and a great game played by them, honestly.
And that's another 3-1 finish for Maple Leaf as well. So now they have 6 points on the board. So they should be pretty much guaranteed top 4, as we will be definitely taking a look at the points here soon. But a great victory for them, a step in the right direction. And I know they're going to go to sleep with a smile on their face. But Godspeed, man, shoot, they got to work hard in these next rounds to be able to catch back up.
Yeah, an impressive game by both of them, and we'll see what they have in store for us when it comes to the next few weeks. Godspeed, I think this should be putting them just below C9 in our rankings. And welcome back to our host, Zeke.
Thank you. Awesome gameplay, awesome casting, guys. You guys do something out there with your words, and it's magic, man. It's magic. But even more magical is the gameplay that we saw coming from the side of MPL. Fantastic 3-1 series over Godspeed. I know that you guys both voted for Maple to win it in the prediction section, but is this how you guys envisioned it happening?
I was kind of hoping for the 4-0, but I mean, there's still this little signs of life coming out from the side of Godspeed, and I mean, showing maybe possibly some limitations in the side of Maple Leafs. They have yet to be able to kind of like close out a series with a 4-0 win. So there are still, I want to say, issues in the armor of them that they need to work on, that they are definitely going to want to be prepared for when it comes to next week's games.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that, right? I mean, 3-1 2 times in a row. And this is it's going to be a little challenging stepping into the next week. They need that 4-0 placement. But as long as they make top 4, technically, I guess they're okay. Maybe playoffs is when they come alive. We see teams in NPL Philippines, NPL Indonesia, even teams in NACT, where they don't do the hottest in the regular season, but then they come alive during the playoffs and knock a heavy contender out. We saw that with Avalon. When Avalon took down BTK, claimed second place and knocked them out of a potential grand finals.
Yeah, it's absolutely anybody's game. And with that being said, both of these teams are going to go on to, I believe, face BTK and Cloud9 next week. And I think that if they're not playing on the top of their games, this could absolutely change how these rankings are set up, which really will open up, I think, these top 4 spots leading on.
Yeah, and that's why we were kind of talking about how well that the little issues that we saw coming out from Maple Leafs, those are definitely going to need to be addressed before you face a team like Cloud9. Same thing with Godspeed. Some of the issues that they had, you can't just have one composition in the holster against a team like BTK who can, and especially because they're going to be contesting for that Bane pick from you too as well. Over here, we saw that it was the side of Maple Leafs, they were fine to just ban out the Bane. When they go against a team like BTK, you know Zane is going to want to get his hands on that pick because it's been one of his favorites.
Well, I'll tell you one thing they don't have to worry about is Zane picking up that Ling. So I guess we can check that one off the books. But it is definitely going to be a blast seeing how they kind of jump forward into the next matches. Definitely credits to Maple Leaf and congratulations on your victory for our final series.
For sure. And with that being said, I think I got somebody waiting for me. Let's get into it. Sick Nasty Wayne. Congratulations, man. I got to know, before we even get into this interview, where did you come up with that name? Because that name is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, where did you come up with that name, Nasty Wayne? Is that just...
About my friends. Tell me, Nasty, and my name is Wayne.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so
Yeah.
Mobile Legends related. Where in the series do you feel like you knew that you were for sure going to win? Whose birthday is it? Come on, let's go.
My
I'm
friends.
I'm coming with you. We're singing. Happy
Sorry again?
birthday to you. All right, hey, Cloud9. I'm gonna keep it short with you. Cloud9. I think that's who you guys coming up next for you guys. What are you gonna do to prepare for that?
Just stay calm in the game and focus, and I'll give a good fight for them.
I hope you guys do, man. Grind it up. You guys know as well as we know, there's a couple things you guys got to clean up. So I hope you guys do, and I hope you guys to give them the heat because somebody's got to. Go enjoy your birthday party. I'm not going to hold you up. Congratulations on your win, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. That caught me off guard. He said, happy birthday. Crazy. Happy birthday, though.
Birthday
to
parties
whoever that
stop
was.
for nobody. That's the rule.
Happy birthday to whoever that was.
All right, here we can take a look at the results for today. Match 1 was last minute with 1 game out of the 4 as Overskilled took the series with 3. And the series we just watched, it was Godspeed versus Maple Leafs. The Moonlight Club Maple Leafs there coming out with 3 victories over the one of their opponents. And this is going to adjust to who they will be facing in the next weekend's matchups.
As we are taking a look at the standings from today's performance, you're still looking at Cloud9 on the top with 7 points. Right behind them, though, is going to be Maple Leaf at 6, spearheading the way ahead of the Bloodthirsty Kings because of the domination from Cloud9 with that 3-1 victory. Godspeed right behind BTK, actually tied up with them. at 5 point for that number 3 position. Nighthorde tied with Overskilled for 4th place. Last minute at 5th. And Accelerate yet to find a point on the board, sitting in that last position.
Absolutely tough. You know, I do hope that we get to see more from Accelerate, especially coming up against Last Minute next weekend, because I do feel like both of these teams have a lot of potential. We just have to see it.
Yeah, and as we take a peek at the rounds that we're going to see next weekend, I think the big one that everybody's going to be looking at is going to be that Cloud9 taking on Moonlight Club Maple Leafs. Also on the board will be Godspeed taking on BTK, Gosu Nighthorde taking on Overskilled, and Accelerate taking on Last Minute. Last Minute looking for at least a victory over Accelerate. It'll be the bottom. It'll be the battle for the bottom there for those two guys.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely one for the books, and I can't wait to see how this final round for the Swiss format ends up. I mean, it's a brand new format. It's the first time we've ever done it. We like to kind of change things up every single season. So you guys got to let us know how you feel about the Swiss compared to our previous formats in other seasons. But I'm a fan of it, right? Keeping teams on their toes, not knowing who you're going against. It kind of puts a little bit more competition in the scene.
Right, and I do think that we're going to be able to get to see next week's schedule. Let's see it. We got Gosu Nighthorde going up against Overskilled, and then Godspeed coming up against Bloodthirsty Kings. Now, I am still super hopeful for Godspeed. I still love them. They've got a lot of work to do if they're going to be able to step up against the Bloodthirsty Kings in an effective manner. Gosu Nighthorde versus Overskilled on the other side, which will be the first game of that day, I think is going to be a really good matchup. Private?
Yeah, more and more as we start moving on through these days, through these games, we're seeing something that could be potentially the super even matchup that could potentially get us to that fifth bonus game. Gosu Nighthorde versus Overskilled has the potential out there. And I know right now the unfortunate thing for Godspeed is BTK is right now licking their wounds and looking to kind of come back. And the unfortunate thing is that Godspeed is going to be on the opposite side of them next week when that comes to fruition.
And with the Swiss round, there's still room for upset. So definitely don't think things are already decided with the matchups, right? We've seen teams like BTK fumble an opportunity. We've seen a lot of teams lose to heavy contenders who we didn't expect. That's why you have a dark horse. That's why it's there. And I'm hoping to be able to see that, not BTK lose necessarily, but see surprises for tomorrow's or next week's matches. So guys, definitely stay tuned. Shout out to everybody competing. And it's just been a fun time again with Private Dancer and Zeke by my side.
With that being said, stay tuned, but no longer today as we're getting ready to close out. Thank you guys all for watching and staying with us, and we hope you guys enjoyed the matches. Peace out.
I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one, yeah, that's how I roll. I got change for I don't care about no gold. Better, so much better, flipping incredible. Always on the show, so they know that I still got it. And I never feel sorry, yeah, to the world. This is me, I'm so royal. And you all wanna be round. And you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. This is me, I'm still on it. Cause you all wanna be loved. Yeah, you all wanna be loved. But a champion, a champion. When I hear him come like my fuse and then ba-bum. Later, see you later, I'm about to blow this up. You can sing my song if you want, I know you want it. It's always kinda funny, yeah, cause I know I'm a superstar in the sky till you be on. haters gonna hate us. How they love, they can bring me down, nah, nah, nah. They like jealous, me and my umbrella, yeah.